Okay, well, nice to have you all back. It's been a little while since our last... It's about 2 weeks since our last game, and you had all managed to return to the Major's encampment in the city of Sestakova. As you were returning, you had been bringing with you several hundred refugees and surviving US servicemen from the radiation-tainted town of Kilis. On your way back, you passed through Presbourz, which was very scared, seemingly, of the very large group of people, and cleared out as you were coming through. You then bumped into Radomosko, which had asked, seemingly, its nearby Soviet forces for help, and you were sternly discouraged from getting too close to the town with your very large group of people. But you were allowed to safely circumvent the area, and you didn't have to abandon any supplies or vehicles. When you crossed the river back to Sestakova, the refugees were separated into 3 groups: US servicemen, healthy civilians, and unhealthy civilians. The first 2 groups were taken to Sestakova. At the third, you managed to negotiate that they'd be allowed to go to Krespis, and they have headed there without issue, it would appear. You decided, seemingly as a group, unless something has happened in between sessions, to head north to try and meet up with German forces. This is in search of radiation suits, NBC suits, and potentially chemical cleanup equipment to help get access to the coal dumps in Kalis before the factory held by NATO forces a little further to the north runs out of coal. Part of this, the Major gave you some updating information that she's been able to get across, which is her limited knowledge of the railway network in this part of town, or in this part of Poland. And you identified a railway bridge just north of Krespis, which you think will be your way to slip across the river. And you were planning to head out there. There is, however, no immediate rush, and if you want to take some time in Chestakova, you are allowed to do so. You are also allowed to draw a reasonable amount of Soviet-based military equipment, should you wish it, from the liberated stores in Sestakova.
I know I know our doctor needs some rest.
Yep. You can all assume that you are, because I had a look at your sheets and so forth, and I knew roughly how much time you're going to need. If you all want to just take some time to relax, rest, maybe study up on some things, and get back up to full health, and get rid of your stress, all that is done. And if you do that, we'll be kicking off on what in universe would be the 1st of August.
I would.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to study. The Commodore would like to study Polish.
Of course. Do you have the experience points to get the specialization?
Yep. Yes.
Fantastic.
Does anybody here speak Russian?
Let me just.
Well, actually, yes, one person speaks Russian in this NATO group. You've seen them speak Russian, which is the Major.
Oh, yeah.
The Major speaks fluent Russian and seemingly fluent Polish.
Do you think the Major would be willing to teach me Russian?
I think there's actually a very good chance of that. Give me just a unmodified. Let me have a look. See, an unmodified. Sorry.
Oh no.
An unmodified persuasion roll. Yeah, nah.
It's
The commander is the Major is busy. Try again later.
I got so it's 10 to actually learn a different language experience. Okay, can I learn both Polish and Russian?
Yes, you can. It'll take a longer amount of time, but you can do it. And because of your higher rank, the major will be willing to teach you. She can be your teacher.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I do have like 20. Because I definitely got 28 experience I can spend, and I'm like, hey, I can learn Russian as well.
Yep. You absolutely can, and she's definitely willing and able to do that. There is a role that the major needs to do. I'm just looking up its sort of difficulty, but it's not too difficult. In the background. It's 10 XP per specialty, so you've got, I think you've got the XP for that. That's a persuasion roll. Guess what? The majors are actually pretty good at that. So here's the persuasion roll for Polish. Success. Here's the persuasion roll for Russian. Very much success. So, yeah, deduct 20 experience points, 10 for each language. And then...
Yep.
And then you now will have Polish and Russian to a appropriate conversational level. This is going to take a bit of time. I'm just looking up how much time. Yep, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to say that pushes us into August 2nd. But yeah,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can. It gives us an extra day.
I can pick up a specialty. Is there anything that we need?
Well, there's a huge number of things that you need.
Hard to pick one off the top of my head.
Yeah, we're pretty good. Well, I'm guessing you've got the rifleman specialty. I'm guessing.
Oh shit! Do I? Hold on, 1 second. I don't have the rifleman.
That might be useful because it will give you a +1 when handling anything that can be reasonably described as a rifle. Although I'm going to see if it's actually called rifleman. It might be called marksman, but I'm just going to go look at that. Specialties. Okay.
The only reason why I chose to learn Russian and Polish is because we sometimes Nostra doesn't show up and we need a translator.
This is a fair thing. And nobody speaks Russian, so yeah. Very good.
I wish I did.
Scrolling down so I can actually get the name of the specialism correct. Yeah, rifleman is the name of the specialty. But yeah, you now will effectively have a +1 when using anything that can be reasonably described as a rifle, which will include assault rifles, but not machine guns. In terms of who's going to train you to do that, and just a normal guy will train you. I will do their persuasion roll to see if they are successful. Alas, they're not. You get to keep the EXP, but actually, it's being done over a couple of days, so they'll get another chance. Oh wow. Yeah, you can keep the EXP. It's not been spent, but unless you want to start pushing into August 3rd and so forth, you will not pick up that specialty because your trainer did not train you very well.
So no rifleman.
No rifleman, unless you want to spend some extra time learning. If so, we can do more rolls.
I
won't push it unless the party sticks around.
If you want to do it for an extra day, we can.
Okay.
I will buff the roll because this person's been trying it with you for a few days now. So. Hey, on the third day, he's successful.
Nice.
Rifleman. An XP.
It only took me 30 years?
30 years and the
Yep.
sniper gets rifleman.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Alright. And my stress is gone.
Yes, your stress is gone. Any physical damage is also gone. Radiation is the same as ever, but yeah, stress and physical damage are gone. You had critical wounds, which I don't think anybody did, but they have also been treated.
There are no 30-06 rounds here.
No, it's what you've got here is Soviet equipment in very large amounts, and they don't really use 30-06. And some, but a dwindling amount of NATO equipment, which is largely 5.56. So what you've got a lot of is 5.56 and 7.62.
I'll just stick with my kid.
Fair enough.
Can I mod it? Are there any cool mods for it?
Yes, it's funny that you should mention that. So, also, if you wanted a sniper rifle, the SVD is available.
Yoink! I'll take that.
See?
All right, I will get the. I'm so used to Foundry now. I was just going to drag the SVD stats and drop it in the box, but alas, I cannot do that here. So I'll just get the SVD stats for you, read it out, or directly put it into your sheet, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, please give me the text.
Okay, all right. There's the appropriate page. SVD 63. So this will take a few moments. I'll pop it into the Roll20.
Take time.
Two by 5.6. Oh, by 5.4, not 5.6. Range 10. Really nasty thing about sniper rifles is their standard damage and their crit threshold is the same.
So I'm gonna put the ticket T3 just in the back of the car. It doesn't have any ammo.
Hang on.
Oh no, that's for the party. Don't worry.
Right, okay, fair enough. Yeah, when you get your SVD, there are its stats for you to put in when ready, and you are also given 4 magazines worth of ammunition from it from the stores. Which is 40 rounds. In terms of mods, standard weapon modifications that you might have for relatively normal Soviet weapons are available. These will include
Hello?
Okay, so it wasn't just me who disconnected.
Oh,
right.
I disconnected as well.
Must have been a gilded thing. Okay, I will repeat then. What was the last thing people heard me say?
You were talking about. Sorry, I'm thinking add. I was thinking add-ons for Soviet
Right.
weapons.
Okay, so yes, relatively standard add-ons that you might have for standard Soviet weapons can be found here. So we're talking bipods, underslung grenade launchers, that kind of thing.
Okay. Does the SVD come with the
Scope built in?
Sorry,
Yes.
scope?
Yeah.
Bipod?
A bipod, isn't really necessary on an SVD, but it's not designed to have one. You kind of get the feeling it would make it less good.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Is there any weapons that the Commodore can pick up?
Commodore. Well, in terms of what kind of weapon would the Commodore want? You want a pistol, a rifle, a submachine gun? What do you want?
The pistol has been really helpful for him.
Okay. In terms of pistols that are available for you, there are PMs, also known as the Makarov, and PSMs. They're incredibly standard, unremarkable pistols. There's nothing special about this. They're both damage 1 pistols. They've both got the same rate of fire. Arguably, the Makarov is slightly better because it's got a lower crit range. But I mean, your 45 is just better, and there is 45 ammunition available for you should you need it from the NATO side of things.
I'll get some 45.
You are given 3 magazines worth of ammunition for it.
Are there such things as flash hiders in this?
Sorry, did you say flashlighters?
Flash hiders.
Oh, flash hiders. They would normally be built into the weapons as standard if they existed at all for that weapon. However, I, being the kind of person who likes to punish myself, might have some optional homebrew rules that I can use.
Okay, all right. Only if it's not a huge chore or a bother.
Service rifle by country. New rules.
Because I don't want a silencer. That'll.
Rifle by country. Weapon light, telescopic sights, rifle grenades, sights, infrared, blah blah blah, night vision. Flashlight. No. With my extra optional stuff I've got here, flash hiders is a bit too micro. Even the homebrew stuff doesn't take account of that. It's just assumed it's built into the weapon as well as is possible. Okay. I'll run you through very basically. Oh no, please, Rostergram, continue.
The only thing that Rostergram would be looking for would be painkillers or antibiotics, if any of those would happen to be available for her to take.
I'm gonna do little rolls in the background. Okay. There is access to both. However, it's apparent that antibiotics were far more in demand and sort of ran out earlier, probably because there were fewer of them. You've got it, in addition to your general medkit stuff, which is a bit broad, but you've got 1 dose of antibiotics and 2 doses of sort of morphine-style painkillers. And when I say a dose, I mean everything necessary to help somebody throughout a 24-hour period with the painkillers and with the antibiotics, enough to help with 1 set of rolls to resist infection or some other problem.
1 dose of antibiotics and 2 doses of morphine-style painkillers. Okay. Active.
Fantastic. And yeah, so the kinds of things that are in here, just in case people want stuff, is food and water, which you'll be getting, basic medical supplies, which have already been covered, rifles, sniper rifles, pistols, machine guns, grenade launchers, shoulder-mounted rockets. You've got there is some bigger stuff, but you won't be allowed access to that. Same with the vehicles; they're not giving you those. But you've also got like uniforms, backpacks, helmets, body armor. You've got boots. You got like all the sorts of things that you would expect to find in a military supply. Don't you? There's tools and anything else people might want.
Oh, should we gear up? Should we get body armor and helmet? I want a helmet. Get the bare.
Wait, fine. If you didn't have a helmet already, they will just hand that to you. No problem. It is a Russian steel helmet. Just book. There it is.
Ooh, a little P cap.
Sorry, say again.
The P helmet.
Yeah.
I get myself a second pair of boots just in case.
Fine, absolutely fine. You can just mark that. There are so many pairs of boots here and socks and so forth. You without difficulty.
Armor and weight. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking that up. In terms, so the helmet is armor 1, weight 1.
Thank you.
And did you say you wanted the body armor as well?
Yeah, if it's cool, hell yeah.
Okay. The body armor, I'm actually going to roll for that. Okay, yeah. So the body armor is sort of like quite early versions of Kevlar body armor coming out of the Soviet Union. It's not as fancy as the NATO stuff, but it gets the job done.
The
Parka, did you say?
PACA.
Let me have a look at that, because I'm not immediately familiar with that.
And I'll get myself 2 pairs of socks as well.
Oh no, it's if it's what I'm thinking it is, it's not quite that. It's a little bit more fundamental in terms of the socks. You get the socks, no problem. Socks, you have those. The jacket itself, as in the flak jacket, is also armor 1, weight 1, and it's torso protection only.
I feel better.
Look to see what kind of test it would be. Yeah, it's more like the 6B3 stuff. may want to
remember.
remember.
Like real armor.
Yeah.
All right, very happy. Thank you.
Yep, you've got that. You may want to remember that with that jacket and that helmet, from a distance, you will look like a Russian.
Yes. Do we have any paint?
There is plenty of paint here.
NATO colors are. You have NATO colors?
Yeah, we do have NATOs.
Well, I mean, yeah, NATO doesn't have a classic color like the UN blue helmet. It's just a different kind of camo.
Or, better yet, put it as a country that will be recognized.
I'll paint the Finnish flag on it.
Okay. If you do wear that, bearing in mind that the Finnish flag is a lot of white and bright blue, unless you are doing something, I will be imposing negatives on your attempts to be stealthy by creeping through like foliage and so forth, because you are wearing the anti-camouflage.
That's true. If I'm going to be stealthy, I might just have to leave behind, but I don't want to look like a Russian.
It's true, that's very fair. And are you doing it just to the helmet, or to the helmet and the jacket?
Should I do the jacket? Asking my party?
Not the jacket. The helmet, yes, but not the jacket, because you're gonna kind of need the jacket. Sticky situations.
Fair. Yeah, okay, just the helmet.
All right. Okay. Well, unless there is anything further, do you get up into your vehicle, which is still a Soviet Ural truck, although it's had its Soviet badges painted away. Do you get into that and head up towards the railway crossing that you had identified north of Crest Peace, or do you go somewhere else?
The rail crossing, but I'll make sure to paint the paint the German flag on there and the American and the
Fantastic.
So people from a distance can see that this is a NATO vehicle, not a Soviet.
What was the last flag you were going to paint?
Your dude's country, Finland.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear the last one, so thank you.
Does that mean that Sovislav is just in the corner pouting because no one painted the the UK?
I think I heard the US flag on there somewhere in that list.
Oh, no, Sovislav's British.
And US.
British though.
Oh, yeah,
and US.
Gonna be found.
And UK. EU. UK. So, all four colours. If someone from like a one of those countries recognizes the flag on our vehicle, can say, "Hey, they're NATO."
Yep. Excellent. Okay. As you're doing that, and the US flag is the hardest one to paint. You know, the stars are pernickety. But as you're doing that, you become aware that two other trucks are preparing to leave with you, and Lieutenant Nichols comes up and explains, "Commodore, I've been asked by the Major to pass on a message. If the railway bridge truly is another way across the river, it is going to be very important that we keep it. As a result of which, the Major has asked that these two trucks containing a dozen people and some supplies accompany you on your mission as far as the bridge. If you are able to hold the bridge, you will continue on alone, and these dozen troops will stay and hold the bridge so as that we may keep control of it."
Okay, yeah. Yes. Can do that.
Alright. Well then. You are fed, you are watered, you are given enough water to take all of your canteens to the top, so if every one of you has only got one canteen, That's 2 days worth of water, 2 rations of water. If you've got more than 1 canteen, they're filled. In terms of food, you are all given some food that has clearly been hunted and gathered whilst you were away. So you're also all given 2 days worth of food rations, which is a combination of scavenged berries, vegetables, and meat. Meat has been dried, so it's not going to rot. And then in the late morning, with clean clothes and well rested and your new supplies, you are heading out on the road at first, but towards Crespis. But shortly before you get to Crespis, you have to turn north and start driving cross-country parallel to the train tracks. Commodore, please give me a driving roll at -1. Okay. You drive along, and every now and again it's a little bit dicey because you're driving off-road in a non-off-road vehicle, but the land near the train tracks, and you can tell that it's a double train track, so trains can pass each other. It's clearly been put on hard ground. It's slightly elevated ground, and this area doesn't appear to be getting muddy or boggy or anything along those lines. So you're on good hard soil next to the train tracks as you're driving north, and nothing bad happens. About halfway through the day, you start approaching where you think the bridge is going to be, but it's not quite yet in sight. You do, however, pick up from some of the foliage and so forth around you that you're getting close to a river. What do you do?
Can I scan for radiation?
Yes, you absolutely can. You've still got your Geiger counter. So you get that out, and you realize it's going to be more effective if you step outside the vehicle. So you step outside the vehicle and sort of sweep it around. At the moment, everything is normal background radiation.
Emil will take his helmet off, and while they're doing that, I'm gonna go out and start scouting. Or recon.
Okay. Make me that recon roll.
Okay, so I want to be doing it stealthily as well. Is it 1 roll or 2?
We'll say it's 2 rolls.
Okay, so
the first will be stealth, and the second will
Okay.
be seeing.
Sure.
So you think you're pretty stealthy, and you are creeping forward, heading up towards that rise. You're going to be snaking forward on your belly, trying to stay in dead ground and not have to go over the horizon at any point. And you are eventually able to maneuver yourself into a position where, thank the heavens, you can see an intact steel railway bridge across the river. It is very obviously in good condition. However, you can also, and I will move the whole party onto the map, see the following. Ignore the huge number of blue tokens that I've put there. Please ignore those. That's for later. But so yes, you can see the steel bridge. You can, however, see that about here must be some trenches. What's going on there? And here, see these. You can see if, for whatever reason, yeah, here we go. 3 people in Soviet uniforms with like shovels and pickaxes and so forth in hand, digging intently.
Well, that's pretty clear. I want to go back ASAP and let them know. The Russians are here, they're on our side of the river, and they are fortified.
Oh, great. How many?
I saw three on our side digging trenches. Beyond that, probably more.
I will point out, because this wasn't particularly well camouflaged, and you can tell that they tried to conceal it, but with your recon roll, you're able to spot it anyway. You were able to notice the tips of 3 tents, at least, on the far side of the river. And in amongst those 3 tents, there was also a little bit of smoke that would suggest something like a cooking fire.
So 3 tents and a cooking fire. So more than 3.
Usually some tents can hold up to 6. Looking at about 18 soldiers, give or take.
So
Maybe less.
Yeah. Maybe a platoon.
As part of your planning, and I will now draw your attention to the blue tokens. Those blue tokens represent the NATO soldiers that have been sent with you in addition to your party. I will also allow Nostro and Dalton to be used in this encounter. I may you direct them, and I might roll for them, or we'll see how that goes. But the makeup of these NATO troops is you've got 7, which are these 7 here, 7 just ordinary riflemen. You've got 1 NCO, got 1 person with an underslung grenade launcher on his rifle. You've got 1 machine gunner. You've got a medic, and you've got somebody with an anti-tank rocket launcher.
They would have been total of as well. Obviously, they're officer. Then Emil puts on his helmet and waits for order.
Could easily take him down. If there's 3 right now, you can catch him off surprise, out of surprise. Let's go and take this bridge.
Okay. I will put your tokens on the map, just in case you have difficulty with the permissions, but you should have full control over them. If I do, tell me if for whatever reason that is not the case. Just lower their scaling. Oop.
I look at the Tiny's character and I go, Emil, okay. You definitely like killing people, right?
I can do it.
Let's go and kill some people.
All right.
Okay. If you need to resize your tokens or some such, you can do it with the Alt key whilst dragging it. Also, similarly, if you want to place yourself somewhere on the map that isn't like snapped to the center of a token, just hold the Alt key down whilst you're doing it. That'll work. So, roughly where on this map do you want to come in? What time of day do you want to do it? I should point out that it is... that's strange. As I said, it's early August, and it is a warm, dry, cloudless sky kind of day. The global, it is currently early afternoon, and the global general temperature is less than it used to be. But it's still August, so it's still the kind of day where you could walk around in t-shirts and be okay.
Where was I able to sneak and still be? Where was I?
You would have probably been in this clump of trees here. That's probably the best cover closest to map edge that you could get. And you can come in anywhere in the sort of like southern two rungs of hexes. Yeah.
I would like to be there.
Right. I'll delete the tokens of the people who've been duplicated. Doop, boop.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't actually control that one, so I just dragged myself.
Oh, that is very unfortunate. Thank you for telling me.
I just dragged myself on because I didn't see where you put it.
Should be able to. Okay, I'll delete Rostergram then, and I can just control Soberslau and Dalton for the moment. But obviously, you'll tell me where you want them to go. So, what about the NATO NPCs? Do you want them to be coming on sort of in your section? Do you want them to be coming on somewhere else?
I want them to hang a little back, so we send 3 people up to kill 3 soldiers, so they don't alert the rest of them. Okay. I would suggest that to Emil and Dalton that they are the 2 that sneak up and
Just want to send 3 normal soldiers up with you.
No, we're gonna get the men to hang back a little bit.
All of them. Okay. All right. I'll just put them like down here, right,
peeking
out the edge of the map so I can get them.
Until we take out the 3 up ahead and figure out what. Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
Then we can easily bring them up.
The camp is likely to hear when we start.
We stealth kill them. We kill them in silence. That's why. Yeah.
I don't have a silencer.
I go knife. It's a good silencer.
That Emil looks very nervous.
So Dalton's in these trees over here, ready to help.
You got a sniper, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't have a silencer on it.
No.
Also, you
I don't think I can.
This is just for Max information. Your character would definitely know that over a large distance, maybe a silencer will help. But silencer is a bit of a misnomer. It is a quieter, not a silencer. It's
Yes.
so bloody loud.
Yeah. He's going to suggest we go up with knives.
You want to carry on?
I don't have what it takes to fight someone like that in close quarters.
Stab them in the head.
And I don't think I can. I don't think I can sneak up to them without being spotted or heard. It is flight. It is too flat. It is beyond me.
I'm probably going to get spotted before you will. Be honest, I probably, yeah.
If you want to do this stealthily, do you want to wait until night, or do you want to do it like right now?
We wait to. They're digging the trench.
Yeah. I think our best bet is to go now.
Yeah. So, Go now and go loud. We can do that. And can you two fire kill them up straight? Used to the three, Dalton and Emil and Dalton. He's
Dalton
killing.
certainly kind of feels as though he has the ability to quite usefully fire. And, and I'm just going to check his range. Yeah, because you're getting quite close here. It's like 70, 80 meters.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Heck, they're gonna know we're gonna come, so we might as well take out 3 of them before they even realize.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, then.
And I say, at least we can hold this side of the fighting.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so given that you are launching the attack from a position of concealment, I'm just going to give all of you the opportunity to just get off 1 free round's worth of activity before we get into proper initiative, should you so wish.
Okay, I would like to take as long as I can to aim.
Absolutely, you can slow aim. That'll give you a +2.
And then I will shoot.
Yeah, so +2 for scope, +1 for rifle. Assuming you're using your SVD, you are in the first range increment, so no penalties for range. And they are just standing, working in the open. These are the easiest possible targets. So you'd be rolling range combat at +3.
All right, and the +1 for it being a rifle is because I'm a rifleman, right?
That is correct.
Okay, just making sure that I didn't get a +4.
Oh!
+3.
So, yeah, well, the +3... Rolling 2d8 for a sniper? You sure about that? I'm going to look at your sheet.
No, not sure at all.
I'm gonna look at your sheet because I think you may have miscalculated there.
Maybe.
6. So you would normally be rolling 2d10 because B and a B, and then because I said +3, that would take you to an A and an A. So that would be rolling 2d12. As a result of which, if you go to combat, you can manually alter what kind of dice roll you're using at the very top, where you see attribute and skill, which are currently set to C and a C. You can set them to an A and an A for this shot, and then try it again. Okay. Right. So you line up your shot. You breathe in, and then at the proper moment in the cycle, like when you're doing the out bit, boom! You let off a shot from your SVD. The crack is sharp and audible, but your round connects with the head of one of these people, and they instantly die. I'm now going to make a similar roll for Dalton, assuming he does roughly the same thing.
Am I done with all my actions this turn?
That were slow aim, which is normally a full round action, and firing, which is half an action, and yeah, you are. Unless there's something really tiny you want to do.
I want to put on my helmet. I want to pick it up from the ground and put it on my head.
Oh, yep, fine, done.
Thank you.
Okay, Dalton, he he lies there, he takes a moment, he breathes, and then I'm going to try. Okay. He, BAM! Fires his rifle. You get the feeling that maybe some dirt or grit or something like that got in there, something's a bit off. It's called, he whiffed his roll really hard and I had to push. But nonetheless, boom! It hits one of these 3 Soviet people who were digging and instantly kills him. Is anybody else
Excellent.
doing anything in this surprise round?
I don't have any long range weapons.
No, you don't. You're firing only at about. Let me measure it. 70 meters, which for you, I think would put your weapon at its 3rd range increment, but I'm going to have a look. Oh, 2. 1, 2. Oh, it would put you at your 4th range increment. Yeah, that's some pretty serious negatives.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, nah.
Fantastic.
Um,
Okay. In that case, to this, as we now enter into combat proper. So I'm now going to see if I can actually make the playing card thing work nicely. All players, 1 card. Boop. Right, you should have a card, and I'm going to see what they are. Oh, I apologize. Tiny, don't let me steal it.
No way!
Thank you. Please tell me what your card is.
It is the Queen of Stars.
Okay.
I got the Queen of, whatever the shape is, the
The important thing
Irish.
is the numerical value, not the suit. So we've got 2 queens. Rostogram.
I got a 9, actually. 9.
9.
A jack.
Jack. And then... Right, okay. So, it's normally done in reverse order. So what we're going to be having, as far as the party is concerned, is we're going to start with Rostogram. Sorry, we're going to start with Mac and the Commodore. So we go Commodore, and we go Ram, then we go Emil. However, and then after Emil, we'll go Dalton, then Sobislaw. I'm going to assume that all of the NATO troops are just off the edge of the map. So it will. They'll start coming on very, very quickly.
6 bayonets and charge.
Yep. I'm now recalling everybody's cards because they're messy and we'll just make things dumb. I've noted the initiative order, and you don't know until it happens when the Russians will start taking their turns. But we start with... Oh, hang on. We start with the Commodore. Commodore, actual combat has begun. The one surviving Soviet person who was doing digging, you can tell, is startled and is about to start, like, sprinting.
So how many, feet can I run?
How many feet? You can go 2 hexes. So it's 20 meters. And if you want, you can then start doing stamina rolls with your other actions to start going further.
So I can get up to about here.
You could, and then if you wanted to go further, you'd need to roll.
Let me... Can I shoot the dude, from here?
You absolutely can. You are going to be at -2 for range. Other than that, no modifiers. Unless you've got positive ones.
I got a sidearm.
Oh, what, as a specialty?
Yeah.
In that case, +1, which takes you to -1 overall.
That would be a... I'm just getting my... So it's usually A for... That would take it to B. And I'll roll. I did take it down one.
That's fantastic. Well done. Unless you push, that explosion doesn't do anything. But as it stands, bang! You let off a round from your pistol, but it goes wide.
Can I push it?
You can. The explosion would stay. You would just re-roll that D10. So just roll a D10.
5.
Okay. So a 5, 6 or higher is what you need to hit things. So unfortunately, you will continue to miss with the result of that push. And when you go boom, you pound with your pistol. Please take a point of durability damage to your weapon because of that explosion. But okay, so the Commodore runs out into the open, bang, fires the pistol, misses. It is now Dr. Rustagram. What do you do?
Well, I imagine that she's not running out because Dalton's probably going to grab her and go, "Don't you dare!" So, I guess she does not really have any very good ranged weapons, but she has her AK-74, so that will be. She's just going to spray some cover fire, is what she's intending to do.
Fantastic. So, is there a particular group of people or area of the map which you're trying to get their heads down, or are you just firing at the one person you can actually see?
There's no way she's getting anything across the bridge, so she's firing at the one person she can see.
Okay. And are you shooting to suppress or shooting to kill? You mentioned covering fire, so I don't know if you're just trying to make him get his head down or if you're actually trying to kill him.
I think realistically it's more likely that whatever if she manages to kill him, it's not intentional. This is not her forte necessarily.
Okay, in that case, what you can do is you can make a ranged attack roll. Since you are trying to suppress him rather than kill him, and your weapon is automatic, please roll. 4 ammunition dice with your attack roll, as you are just effectively using the automatic feature of your weapon to fire up to your maximum rate of fire, which is 5 with an AK-74. This means that you will be consuming 5 rounds of ammunition rather than just 1. The threshold for success is exactly the same. You just need 1 hit. If you just get 1 hit, then it pins him. If you get 3 hits, then it will actually also hit him with physical damage.
Okay, so that would be a ranged combat attack roll with 4 ammo dice.
That is correct.
That's no surprise to anybody.
You only rolled 1 ammo dice there, weirdly.
That's
you
weird.
Can roll 3 more.
Okay. Oh, that's weird. I have to actually... Okay. I got it. There's the other 3.
There we go. Okay, so... you loose a hail of shots. None of them actually hit this guy, but he does take enough fire that he has to roll to see if he is pinned. Let's do that. He fails that roll, and so whilst he's about here, he just flops down into a prone position. Other than that, you don't see anything, but he definitely dives to the ground. So what am I going to use for that? Use that. Okay, yeah, he definitely dives to the ground. Now, just as Emil is about to act, the Soviets start to act.
Unfair.
And the person who becomes very, very aware of what it is that the Soviets are doing is the Commodore. And I now have to change layers for a bit. You become very, very aware that just on the far side of the river, where there might be something, you're not quite sure, there's a patch of ground that looks different. You are now aware of what is in there because it is a concealed firing position with overhead cover. It's a firing slit. And from that firing slit, you take a bunch of automatic fire. You can tell that an automatic AK of some description and a PKM machine gun have opened up and are firing at you directly. The PKM will do the following. It's taking a moment for this to open up. Here we go. The PKM is going to be consuming ammunition dice. It's not firing one shot at you. It is actually trying to kill you. In terms of range, okay, it's got a range of 8. You are just in its first range increment. Rate of fire of 5. He is firing at B. So, PKM machine gun at the Commodore. That's not fantastic. So, Commodore, you are running along. I'm just going to roll a dice quickly in the background. Okay, you are running along. You fire your shot. Bang! The Soviet person in front of you doesn't appear to be particularly, harmed by that. But eventually, bunch of fire from behind you. He goes down. He's taking cover. You become aware of this flash of machine gun fire from in front of you, and you take this sharp blow straight in your chest as the PKM round hits you. It will do 4 damage to you. Do you have any body armor or anything like that that will reduce that effect?
Yes, I have a flat jacket on.
Okay, so that 4 damage comes down to 3.
Yeah.
As you are, BAM! Hit in the chest by this burst of machine gun fire. Please make me a cool under fire roll, and make sure that you've got the unit morale in there, which I think is currently at a B. Okay, you fail the cool under fire roll. You immediately, BAM! Dive to the ground on your belly. You are pinned, you are afraid, you are terrified. This will limit your ability to take actions when it comes back round to your turn. Also, please take a point of stress. And I'll just roll that, get that playing again. A burst of machine... Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. My idiot bird fell from behind the TV and landed behind the computer, and I had to get her out. I missed what happened in the last half a minute.
Okay.
She was shot at?
Yeah, a PKM machine gun and an AK have opened up on the Commodore. The PKM machine guns round smack the Commodore in the chest. You have seen this. The Commodore has been shot. The Commodore has gone to the ground, but doesn't appear to be weirdly still in a manner that would suggest death. The AKM, not the AKM, the AK-74 will also be firing. It will do the following. Firing at first range increment. It is not going to consume ammo. That will also, BAM! Hit the Commodore. Let me roll for the location. Ooh, Commodore. Please take 2 points of damage, because I'm aware you have a piece of kit that will help with this. I've already factored it in. Please take 2 points of damage as you get this sort of weird ringing sensation in your head. You instinctively reach up to your helmet with your left hand and sort of pat it, and there is a dent in it as it has just deflected a bullet. Okay. That is it from Soviet Group 1. You do also kind of get the feeling that you're seeing movement in other areas. If it's not immediately obvious from the map, the trenches are here, 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 and maybe something up here. And it is now Emil, your turn.
Okay, the machine gunner. Can I see him?
Can, but he is firing through a firing slit from a trench with overhead cover. I'll get a picture if that's not clear.
No, I get it. The odds of hitting are
Yeah, the way
low.
firing into cover works is, unless somebody is completely concealed, in which case it is different. Unless you aim for a specific body part, then you fire at them. It's the same to hit as normal. You randomize where you hit them on their body, and then if it's any of the places that are behind cover, it's going to take ridiculous amounts of damage reduction to the point where nothing will get through. If you want to aim at him specifically, you'd need at his head or his arm that's exposed for firing. You would be taking penalties for aiming at a specific body part.
Okay. I'm really nervous about my commanding officer just being out there and down.
Mhm.
I would love to take my time with this, but I'm too scared. No, actually, hold on. You know what? I need to remember who I'm playing. Emil is a cold bastard. Uh, he's gonna do everything he can to save him. Sorry. But he's not gonna. If he just fires blind, in a panic, he's gonna miss.
Yes.
So he knows that the best chance of him saving his CO is just to breathe, aim. I'm going to aim for the head, and it's a careful aim, so full round, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. That will cancel out the body's part specific negatives next round. So yeah, you take your full round to aim carefully at that machine gunner. It
Out of
is
character, though, I am stressing out. Emil is very cool, though.
Meal is very cool. Dalton is going to pick up on this plan, but he also realizes that the machine gunner is the vital thing. So he is going to take a shot at the machine gunner with quick aim, also aiming for the head. So he's more likely to miss, but it might do something immediately. Cannot use ammo dice. Bang! So, boom! He takes his shot. The bullet whizzes out. You can tell, Emil, as you're looking down through the scope, that the guy has been hit. He kind of staggers back, and he puts a hand to his head, and you get the feeling that the helmet saved him. And he then boom immediately goes back into his firing position. So he's hit but alive.
The balls on this guy. I want to kill the shit out of him.
Yeah. What's interesting is if Dalton had hit him somewhere that wasn't armored, he would have killed him. But he hit him somewhere that was armored. Okay, yeah, that's Dalton's turn done. We now move to the second group of Soviets. The whole team will slightly become aware of yet more Soviets as a second position opens up. And I will now move to the appropriate layer, the people who have just started firing. So hopefully you can now see these three lovely fellows over here. who start firing from their position in a trench, but it's not like overhead cover, it's just a ditch. And they're going to be firing in a mix. One of them is going to fire at the Commodore, who ran out into the open, and two of them are going to try to fire at Emil. The one who fires at the Commodore will do the following.
And plus, I'm laying on the ground, remember?
Yeah, it is going to give negatives, most certainly. So many character sheets. So BB becomes BC becomes DC. Okay, so bang! Shot comes out, and let me randomize. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh no! That's not killing. Fortunately, I hope it's not killing. Fortunately, it's an armored location. That's the head. So the Commodore, you feel another boom sharp pain. You can't be double pinned, so I'm not going to make you do that. As you take 2 points of damage as another bullet like ricochets off of your helmet.
Oh no.
Max health.
Fantastic. Do you have 1 point or like none?
None.
Okay. You do not immediately die. That is not something that happens. But I'm now just going to check this. I can't remember whether you go unconscious or if just all further wounds are criticals, so I am just checking that very quickly. Here we go, combat and damage. Damage. Right, okay. So you are classed as incapacitated. This means that all you can do is crawl and mumble incoherently. So you are alive. You are like on the edge of consciousness. You are very confused. You are very disorientated. You know, it's not entirely clear which way is up. Your vision is probably distorted. You're probably not in too much pain because you've just got shock. But you are definitely in a state of shock. And all your character can do is crawl, which is 1 hex of movement.
Cool.
Yep. This is something that is solvable through medical treatment, if for whatever reason that were to happen. So, we get that coming to the Commodore. The Commodore is incapacitated. You have all just witnessed your valiant leader charge out into the open, firing their pistol, and suffer the immediate consequences of this. There will then be this
tragic badass.
Yeah. Emil, I'm assuming you're firing from a prone position.
Oh, sorry, me. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, nobody is expending ammunition to fire at you. However, okay. Oh god, these guys are. I have taken their skills down due to all of these negatives, and they are just lucking out on the rolls. I will now randomize location.
No, these are clearly elite.
Okay, so do you have any armor? And I suspect the answer to this is no. On your arms and legs.
Me? No.
Yeah. All right. So, Emil, you are lying there. Your shot very calmly lining up on the machine gunner when you are aware of some sudden lancing pain in your left arm and left leg as you take 4 damage as these people are firing at you with AKs, and they hit.
Where's the hand? Okay,
Make, make me just a flat stamina roll. Okay, this is fine because the rules would normally say this happens automatically, but I decided to give you a stamina. The sudden, sharp sensation of pain throws off your aim from your turn round. The default rules say if you hit, it happens automatically, but I thought that was
Yeah, that makes
mean.
sense. Okay, so... Sorry, 4 damage?
4 damage from
4
2
damage.
different bullets.
Owie, owie, owie.
Okay. That takes us to Sobislaw. What do people want Sobislaw to do?
Does he have any grenades on him?
Yes, he does.
I would love it if he killed
Bet.
Russian.
Basically throw grenades at the enemy.
Okay.
The only
He
thought
is
would be
way too. Yeah, he's way too far away to actually get grenades to them, but he does
That
have
is
smoke
unfortunate.
grenades.
That would probably be
Yes, totally. That would help.
Oh, yes, please.
All right, I'm gonna say Sobislaw spends some time like crawling up into a position where he'll actually be able to do it. So I'd like to hear, and then he will throw a smoke grenade, which will land in this position, which is sort of like the best one for trying to conceal as many of you as is possible, but it's not going to be perfect. So the smoke starts off here, I'm going to say. And it kind of spreads a bit into there as well. It is not perfect, but that is the best it realistically can be.
Okay.
All right. It is now the remaining NATO troops. Give me a general direction of what you want them to do, and then I'll do a quick version of it.
Definitely definitely suppress the machine gun nest. So we can get
And
our-
take out the other dudes on the... couple of them take out the 3 dudes on the other side.
Okay,
A group of them suppresses the machine gunner.
So, I'm going to say that some of them are coming on in sort of like around here. I'm just going to, and they're crawling to minimize their profile. Ooh. The big questions are: where do you want the anti-tank person to be paying attention to, and do you want them to be using rockets? And where do you want the machine gun to be paying attention to?
I reckon the machine gun should be focused on the other machine gunner.
Okay.
Agreed. Is it cool to rocket machine gunner?
If you want to, yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to say that you are aware that you have 3 rockets.
We haven't seen or heard anything mechanical, right?
No, you have not.
Then I would love a rocket in there.
Okay, I'll put the rocket on that side as well then.
Everybody okay with that?
I mean, if you think
Yeah.
it's likely that a rocket's going to get through, but we've been able to fire ourselves. Just we had the unlucky coincidence of hitting an armored portion of this guy.
Okay. So, in terms of the general exchange of machine gun fire, I'll do that like in a very quick, abstract fashion. All right. So there is an exchange of fire between this group of people up here who've already fired at you, so they don't really do much. And all of these guys here are putting fire onto this group of people. As you see this happen, you are aware of one of the Russian soldiers dying.
Yay.
As for the people who are firing up towards the machine gun nest with the people inside it, they don't see any obvious effect from that fire, but that's not too unusual because all you can really see of the machine gun nest is a dark slit. Then the rocket goes out. And do you want me to roll for the rocket, or do you want one of you to roll for the rocket?
You go ahead.
You.
All right, I will roll for the rocket.
You're only really good right now.
Its range. Okay, okay, so the rocket goes out. It cruises over this vast amount of open terrain. It starts wobbling and wiggling from side to side as you are aware that you are using it beyond its intended operational range. This thing's for pretty close-up stuff. But just as you think it's about to snake off and go off to the side and not really hit anything, bang! It smashes into the machine gun nest. You see clumps of earth and splinters from the wood just go up into the air. You are aware of the sounds of something screaming. You can't immediately see obviously what's going on in there because it's just bedlam and chaos, but it hit.
Yeah, we needed that.
Okay.
For
now,
a good roll.
Now we go to the third group of Soviets, who there's a lot of running around, there's a lot of general movement, and then till eventually you become aware of the following people. Okay. So you become aware of those three people as they start firing at this group of NATO soldiers over here. It seems that they've had the same idea you've had, because a rocket comes out from that position.
RPG!
RPG, indeed. And hails towards the NATO troops who are currently crawling across the ground. And the rocket slams into the ground short of their position. It hails smoke and mud and dirt up into the air, and it rains down in a little pitter-patter. But the rocket itself didn't hit any of them. However, the machine gun fire did kill that NATO soldier. Poof! As they go down. We now move back round to the top of the order. Commodore, it is your turn. You are knocked senseless and incoherent, but you can crawl up to 1 hex.
I'm there.
You crawl. You're dragging yourself. Desperately. Oh, what's going on? Everybody who can see the Commodore approaching, you are aware that the Commodore is trailing blood as they move along.
Yeah.
All right. It is Dr. Rostgram.
And she is dropping her backpack, pulling out a med kit.
Yep.
And I guess she's going to leave her backpack there and hope to God that she doesn't forget it later. But she needs to be fast right now. And that backpack is going to slow her down. Because she's going to start making her way to the Commodore. And she's going to need to probably crawl in order to get to that Commodore.
If you crawl, you will not be able to get there this turn, but it will be safer. If you run, you'll get most of the way there no matter what. With a stamina roll, you might get all of the way there.
She's going to run and drop when she's gone as far as she can go.
Fantastic. Do you want to? I think it's stamina or mobility. It's actually a mobility roll. So make me a flat mobility roll.
Okay, and let me bump that mobility back up because she does not have her backpack on right now.
Oh, fantastic! You can get all of the way there this turn and then drop prone. It will take you a whole round to do that, but yeah.
Alright, that's what she will do.
Fantastic.
I think
Shall I move your?
it's
Yeah, you can do it.
somewhere.
Put it in the. You can actually put it in the. I'll make the Commodore smaller. I do apologise for this, Commodore. I'll make the Commodore smaller, so as that you can then. Hang on. Be in the same hex because you do technically have to be in the same hex.
Okay,
Then I'll make your token smaller.
thanks.
Slightly make it. There you go. So yeah, you get in, bloomp, and then you drop down next to the Commodore. All right, we now move to the Soviets, and you're aware of boom, the general chaos that you have caused around the machine gun nest. As a result of which, whilst you can kind of like see movement and so forth, no fire comes out of the machine gun nest at this time. But you all become aware of another person who pops into your general awareness as, let's just see, and then go into A becomes V. Yes, I am going to use an ammo dice. And a quick aim. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I'm going to look at this so I can make absolutely sure this is very, very right.
I stopped breathing for a second.
All right. Dr. Rostogram, please roll me a d6.
For how many pieces you're blown into.
Not quite. Oh my god.
Eyes
So,
bad?
Rostogram, you run. You're running across the open field. You dive down onto your belly. You are crawling up to the Commodore. And you're aware, somewhere, your sort of third eye, as it were, the dramatic camera pans as a thin smile appears on the face of the sniper, who was just waiting for people to come and help the injured comrade. And BAM! You take a hit. You will be taking, let me see, I'm assuming you're wearing a helmet?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that 6 was for location of wound, and you rolled the head. So you take 5 damage. It would have been 6 because of all of those successes, but you take 5 damage as BAM! This shot hits your helmet. It does not ricochet. It penetrates. Because of that 5 damage, he rolled into the critical range. As a result of which, criticals.
Who snipes a medic?
An absolute fecking bastard. That's who. Please roll a d10.
Oh
Or do you want me to roll it? A 3. All right. Okay, so you go down there. There is this bang feeling as your helmet is hit. It doesn't quite absorb the blow properly. You have definitely taken some severe damage. A bit of your helmet just shatters off, ricochets down, and smashes into your nose, just really badly crushing it. I'm going to roll 2d6. Seven. Note that you have a crushed nose with a heal time of 7 days. Until it is dealt with, you are at -1 to recon and persuasion rolls.
Aw.
Yeah, boom! As the sniper fires. It is now Emil, your turn.
Oh, okay. I would like to. Okay, the sniper is just in a trench, right?
Yes, he is. He's in a trench.
Okay, I'm gonna have to just take the shot, and it's a quick shot.
Yeah, quick aim minus. So it would normally be +1 for that, -2 for a specific body part. Because I'm guessing the head.
Yeah, because he's in a trench, right?
It could also be the right arm. The right arm has to be showing in order to fire. So, well, his arms. So his arms and head have to be exposed to fire. The head is potentially more lethal, but it is of course armored. The arms are not armored.
I will be going for the noggin.
Okay, you're going for the head. And let me check range. Okay, you're beyond 100 meters. So it's going to be -1 for range, -2 for core body part, +1 for quick aim, +1 for rifleman. So that's -1 overall.
Okay. So with damage roll, what does it leave me?
So the way damage works, by the way, you can consume an ammo dice because you've got an SVD. You've got a rate of fire of 2. You can actually fire 2 shots if you want to consume an ammo dice. In terms of damage, if you just hit, you do the damage value. However, for every extra success above the damage above the first one, you can in theory do more. And then if your damage value, carry on.
I meant my skill. Sorry, my attribute is skill. Are they D10s now?
So you've gone. I'm assuming you'd normally be agility A, range combat A.
Yeah.
Okay, because you've gone down 1 rather than 2, you are now, rather than 2 A's, you're an A and a B.
So attributes A, skill.
Yeah, for the purposes of this roll, yeah.
That's still super good.
Yep.
Okay, I take the shot.
You take that shot, and if you want...
Oh, wait, and I spend ammo.
Yep, so you've got 1 ammo dice in there, which means you're firing 2 shots. But yep, here you go.
So just roll...
Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay.
Roll a d6, because you didn't roll the ammo dice. Roll a d6, and then I'll be able... Okay, so the ammo dice did nothing. That's fine. So, you aim for his head. Bam! You pull. Boom! You are aware that you hit him. However, because you didn't do extra damage, the helmet saves his life.
No! Okay, I'm just going to kill him again next turn.
You want me to really torment you and also make sure that you know this? I'll let... will I let you... Yeah, you're really early on. I'll let you retcon this. What is the damage rating of your weapon? I know the answers to the questions, but I'm just talking you through. What's the damage?
3 and crit 3?
Yes, which means that if you do 3 or more damage, because your crit rating is 3, if you do 3 or more damage, you automatically crit, which means since your basic damage is 3, as long as you're on negatives, like hitting armor or cover, you'll crit with every shot.
Oh, it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
So going for the helmet is objectively the wrong thing to do.
It is, unless you're confident that you're going to get extra damage somehow, so you can start critting again. And be aware. Yeah, be aware that these are like low-level NPCs, not like big titled named characters. As a result of which, if you crit them, they die.
Oh, can't we say go for the armament?
Yes, because this is very early on. I'll let you retcon that, and you did do the hit anyway. But
It's my first fight.
exactly. That's why I'm talking you through it. So you
Okay.
aim at him. You aim for the arm. Boom! You take the shot. It hits him in the shoulder, and it like rips his arm off, just as he spins around and just flops down into the trench, dead.
Oh, I went from being a dingus to a badass.
But that
Alright,
will
that's my
be
turn.
that will be your entire turn. It is Dalton. He is going to take aim at somebody he believes he can still see, and he will take a shot. He can actually see that the machine gunner is still alive, and he's going to try and put the machine gunner down. He's going to take an aimed shot, which will reduce it more. Okay, so he, boom, fires at the sniper. He manages to hit the sniper in the arm, and although his thing doesn't have like automatic crit, the machine gunner was already badly enough wounded that the machine gunner is dead. We now move to the second group of Soviets. They will engage in a firefight with the NATO troops directly to their south, and as a result, they're actually quite effective. And 2 of the NATO troops die in that exchange of fire. It is now. It would be Soboslow's turn. What do you want Soboslow to do?
Can we have more smoke for our medic?
Let me go into Soboslow's sheet because he might be running out of smoke.
Yeah, could just pull one of us back.
Let me see. Yeah, he is now out of smoke. Yeah, Soboslow could grab someone and drag.
Yeah.
I think that would be
the
I think that would be the smartest way, is to drag somebody more into cover. So,
All right. Who do you want him to drag?
I mean,
Commodore is probably the best person.
Who, sorry?
I mean, the Commodore is the only person who's outright unconscious. Well, not unconscious, but not able to stand up.
I think it would be me, because I know, yeah, I can't. I can only crawl. That's all I can do.
I'm going to say that Soboslaw comes up, grabs you, and manages to drag you back. It's going to take some time back into this hex. There we go. Soboslaw is doing it with you. If for whatever reason you're able to get off the southern edge of the map, there's like a little rise, and then it dips. So if you're off the southern edge of the map, you're out of sight of the people and cannot be shot at further unless they do something funky. Assuming you're crawling. If you're standing up, they'll be able to do it, but I'm going to assume everyone is sensible enough to crawl.
Yeah, we are.
Well, it is then the third group of Soviets' turns, and I'm aware again of more machine gun fire from the sorts of places that machine gun fire was coming from before, and it will do the following. Okay, it won't do very much, and then NATO troops will return fire. What do you want to do specifically with the machine gun and the rocket? Bearing in mind you now only have 2 rockets. You don't have to fire the rocket every turn if you don't want to.
Basically, can we move the machine gunner over to the other, couple of the NATO troops over to the other side? That's including the machine gunner and the rocket launcher dude.
Okay,
To help with
won't be able to get there this turn, but he can start doing it.
So they can help with trying to get the dudes at the back down.
The machine gunner is able to get a position. He engages in fire. He's not able to kill anyone. However, in the exchange of fire, this Soviet soldier dies. And yeah, that is it. We now turn around back to the top of the order, which would be the Commodore. You are currently lying on the ground going. You can
we-
still call if you want.
What about the NATO medic?
Yes, the NATO medic. They are able to try and do something, and they are on your side of the tracks if you want them to try and tend to your wounds.
Yeah, that'll be better than.
Okay.
And eventually, so Ostergrim can actually attend to her wounds when she gets behind enemy lines.
All right. He is able to get to you and help you. I'm now just going to look up exactly how much that does. Critical injuries. Incapacitated. And that's stress. Okay, you are up to 1 hit point because you got the one success. Further medical aid rolls for that will be of no effect. You are, however, fully conscious and able to act entirely as normal, and it is your turn.
I will get into cover.
Okay. There's not much. You say you're going to get into cover. There's not much. Do you want to get into the bushes?
Yes,
Okay, you're in the bush. Okay, yep. Sorry, I apologize. There you go. You're in the bushes.
Yep. I'll just stay behind there and just keeping cover for a while.
All right. You do that. It is now Dr. Rostergram, your turn.
With the intense pain of her crushed nose, she very much considers just playing dead for a round. But someone else is going to have to come out and try and drag her, and that's not fair to them. So she's just going to start crawling back in the same direction that Sobisla and the Commodore went off in. And inwardly she's going, Dalton is going to chew me out for this so much if I live.
All right. It is now. You can move 1 hex down if you're crawling. If you want to try and crawl further, you'll need to do a mobility roll.
No. Or I'll do that mobility roll.
Cool. Oh yeah, you can only get a maximum of 1 extra hex by crawling. You can't super speed crawl, but you can in theory go 1 more hex. Cool. All right, it is now the turn of the next group of Soviet soldiers. They're from the rocketed machine gun nest. You become aware that the PKM has started firing again. Emil, you may have noticed that the soldier who was standing next to the dead machine gunner has just picked up the machine gun and started firing.
Yes,
as you do. It will do the following. It is not actually firing. Actually, no, it will. Emil just killed their sniper. Emil is fucking dangerous. Emil needs to die.
No. I'm an old man. What do you mean?
He does not have the appropriate stats for this, actually. He might just use his own weapon.
Hey, welcome aboard.
But,
I was Ian Fail.
hello!
Hello.
Corvinus!
He's actually just going to use his own rifle. He's not going to pick up the machine gun. He is, however, going to consume as many ammo dice as he possibly can because he is effing panicking. We've got, let me see. He would normally at BB. That's going to turn into C. That's going to turn into a D. No, so that's going to turn into a C for there, then a D, then a D. Okay, alright, here we go.
Start the computer one more goddamn time. I will fucking strangle them.
Right. So, Emil, you are aware of So AK-74 rounds just fly in your general direction. He is not using the PKM. None of them come anywhere effing close to hitting you. You don't even need to do a cool under fire roll. He whiffs that so hard that nothing gets done. Then you become aware of another person who had previously been sitting and waiting and is now very, very pissed off with Emil specifically.
What?
Because
The
you
medic?
killed their friend.
Oh.
As you see an RPG round flying in your general direction.
Oh boy.
Wrong sheet. Here we go. Okay, so this is going to be a straight DD. Okay. The RPG flies in your general direction. It whistles over your head, and due to particularly that explosion, it misses so badly that it explodes a safe distance away behind you. But that thing was about, like a foot over your head? If you had been standing up, you would have gotten that in the legs.
Okay.
And it is now your turn, Emil.
Okay, so is our commander and our medic, are they clear or are they still under?
We're in the clear. Everyone's shooting at them. Two dudes are shooting at you because you took out the sniper.
Yeah,
I think you're the biggest.
They are both still in the line of sight of the trench. If the trench wanted to shoot at them, it could. You'd need to get off the southern edge of the map to be absolutely safe, but they're clearly being deprioritized.
Okay. I'm hit. I'm taking a lot of really nasty fire. My objective is, of course, to stay alive. So I am going to crawl back and out of the line of sight. I want to go down the hill.
Absolutely. Make me a mobility roll to see if you can get the extra distance to do all of that in this one turn.
Mobility?
Yeah, just flat mobility.
Oh,
Yep, you get the extra hex distance necessary to crawl off of the southern edge of the map.
okay, then I slide down a little bit and I think I started whinging about how I'm hit. But I'm not calling for a medic. I'm just like, oh, this is not why you joined up.
That will conclude Emil's turn. Before we move on to the next turn, who wants to catch Soberslow up?
Yeah, because I had a thing called an IRL obligation for Mother's Day. And the fact my cat's literally restarted my computer.
Okay, alright.
Understandable.
Yeah, understandable.
I don't fucking understand what the fuck is going on.
That's what we are here to. Emil, do you want to take the honors?
We went to the railway bridge, found out that it's there, solid steel, good health, good construction. But we also found out that we're not the only ones who wanted it. The Russians are already here. They were fortifying. They were intending on holding it. So we assaulted them. We were able to kill and suppress the first group, the only group we actually knew about on our side. It turns out they were very ready, and after a Commodore very bravely ran at them with his pistol out, just taking pot shots, he got gunned down by a machine gun. And then they started firing RPGs at us, and our medic went to save our leader and got shot in the head and survived. They're both alive, by the way, miraculously.
Fuck.
Yeah,
both of us are alive.
They fired RPGs at us, we fired a rocket at them, and things aren't super great right now. Emil just backed off and like crawl into cover to hide
Yep.
from the machine
plan
the fire is
began-
receiving.
Yeah, the plan began with, shall we say, a charge in broad daylight across open ground with little to no cover. Hence why this isn't going well.
It was very brave.
It's now Dalton's turn. Dalton, who is safely ensconced in his little piece of cover, is going to take a shot at the person who's still in the severely damaged machine gun nest. Okay, he hits, and as a result of which, this second Soviet soldier in the machine gun nest, the one who just poured fire into Emil, he takes a shot in the knee, but it just blows away his leg at the knee. He falls down, he writhes around a bit, which Dalton doesn't actually like doing, but randomized hit locations. And a few moments later, it is clear that his blood loss is so immense that he dies. Okay, it is now Soviet Group 2. Soviet Group 2, return fire on the sort of NATO group that are trying to duel them. One more NATO soldier bites the dust. The NATO soldiers who are still there look like they're about to run away. Now move to Soboslav. It's your turn.
I know you helped help me catch up with this, but I'm still fucking bamboozled.
Yeah, so you are currently lying on your belly, like near Emil, amongst some bushes. You have effectively been on obscuring duty, and so far it's gone well. Actually, the smoke is going to be gone now, though. Yeah, you've got your normal equipment. You're at full health. You're lying on your belly next to Emil. To your right are NATO troops who are on your side and are firing at the Soviet troops. To your left is the railway, and then on the far side of that is some more Soviet troops. So more NATO troops who are doing very badly. In front of you is the river. Across on the far side of the river is a trench with a machine gun nest. The machine gun nest has been blown up. There was a sniper in that trench who is dead. There is at least one anti-tank person in that trench who is still alive. To your 10 o'clock, on your side of the river, is a trench with at least 2 Soviet riflemen in it still doing a job. And until your 11 o'clock on the far side of the river is a slightly larger trench network of which you are aware that contains tents and a couple of Soviet troops who are engaging in a firefight.
Well, I suppose I could try and handle the anti-tank one and completely clear out this side of the rails.
You absolutely could. It's 120 meters away. I'm assuming you're using a rifle of some description.
Yes, rifle.
Yeah, okay, let me just...
For the AK-74 over a long time ago.
Fantastic. What is the AK-74's range?
6?
6. So that's 60, which means that you are firing just at the edge of the increment, so you'd only be taking -1 for range. So -1 for range.
I could always, would I be able to, crawl my way still in cover closer then?
You could, but you'd need to get to 60 meters or less to be at -0 for range. And you're not going to get that far. Yeah, you'd be like there. And you cannot get there this turn. That's several turns worth of movement. When you're firing at a person in a trench, unless you aim at a specific body part, then when you hit them, it's randomized body location, and if it's anything that's concealed by the trench, good luck. If you want to aim at a specific body part, which you can see the head and the arms,
I'm gonna definitely try and go for the arms.
Okay, all right. So that's -2 for aiming at the arms, -1 for range, so that's -3. Do you have anything like rifleman or something like that you think would give you a positive?
I mean, no, I'm an engineer, not a
Absolutely
marine.
fine.
Not a-
And do you want to
Not
move
a-
this turn at all, like crawl
Yes.
back after you shoot, or do you want
Yes.
to?
Yeah, I'll call
Okay.
back after I shoot.
In that case, I won't give you the aiming bonus. It is
Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna move back.
Okay, in that case, I will give you the aiming bonus of +1, which takes you to an overall -2. So make your ranged attack roll, but take your dice down. Ooh. You miss. Your shots go wide and do not make contact with this man.
Bloody hell.
It is the third group of Soviet soldiers and their turn to fire. Let me just abstract this very quickly. Okay, a bunch of machine gun fire. Well, I say machine gun, automatic fire. It's not a big old PKM this time. Flies down from the far side of the river, but it doesn't appear to have much of an effect. I'm going to make a cool roll. All right, it's now the NATO troops' turn. However, these NATO troops, the one on the left-hand side of the railway, are crawling away as fast as they possibly can. They're running. They've panicked, and they crawl off the map and are no longer involved in this fight. So I'll just pop them there so we know they're not dead. But yeah, there they are. They're gone. For the group of people around you, they're going to have a better chance. Okay, yeah, no, they've still got their shit together. What do you want them to do?
Return fire to the people that are across opposites diagonally to us. The ones that are on the same side of us.
Stop, I noticed your token has moved. Was that deliberate?
I wasn't sure, like, was I supposed to move? Because I said I would stay there and...
Yeah, I don't know why your token moved. I just noticed it did, so I was asking. But okay,
yeah, it was
all right.
deliberate because I wasn't sure how far I could go.
Okay, if you were... Now, you didn't move, so you're not going anywhere, but if you were crawling, then you can move 1 hex, unless you do a mobility roll to move, in theory, a maximum of up to 2 hexes. If you're standing, you can go 2 hexes, and then you can do a mobility roll and move as many additional hexes as your mobility allows. You can't do that, Draco. You specifically said you were staying still in order to aim. You can't move.
Oh, right, never mind.
You're back where you were. So, yeah, the remaining NATO soldiers engage in a firefight.
Them ones.
They fire back. Their rounds appear to have little to no effect. And we now move to the top of the round. We have the Commodore. You are awake, conscious, and still just about in the encounter. Emil has fucked off. NATO troops to the left have fucked off.
Typical squishy man. Typical squishy man.
Yeah, I will tell you, especially since you have an intelligence trait, like without rolling, you are losing.
Yeah, he's gonna do a tactical retreat.
Okay.
Because he knows that we can't win this.
Yep, you're close enough to the edge of the map to just be able to leave.
Yeah, he's gonna order a retreat back.
All right. You can go off the southern edge of the map, put your token in the very bottom layer, so we know you're still sort of around. But yeah, you are safely out of the encounter. Which takes us to Dr. Rustagram. Dr. Rustagram, your beautiful, beautiful face has somewhat been marred by this mauled up nose. You are bleeding from the head, and you are very, very disorientated. What do you do?
Okay, hoping to God that Dalton's gonna grab her backpack. Hopefully she at least heard a retreat because she's close enough to the Commodore. But she's gonna retreat.
Yep, you're close enough to the southern edge of the map that you can just get the hell out of there.
And then at some point she'll work on getting a gauze bandage on her head as best she can. Maybe the medic will take pity on her and try and help.
Absolutely. All right. We move to the first group of Soviet soldiers who are going to try and give you a parting kiss. Okay, so another RPG round goes, but sails by ineffectively, and you don't even really hear it hit anything.
At least it didn't go for the bridge.
Yeah, at least it didn't go over the bridge. Oh yeah, they do not appear to be trying to damage that. Which now takes it to Emil, who, unless he wants to turn around, is off map. Do you want to try and turn around, Emil, or are you happy with this?
I'm happy staying here, wait for everybody else to retreat.
Fair enough.
But
this takes us to carry on.
I mean, he doesn't want to be seen as a coward. So, like, he does make a bit of a show of, like, grabbing his wounded arm. And, he's bleeding. Oh, no, he's hurt. Oh. But he's so brave and strong, he's still here.
Excellent. This takes us to Dalton, who picks up Rustagram's bag and crawls away to safety off the southern edge of the map. Recovered. Which is then taking us to the next group of Soviet soldiers. They fire off a few parting shots trying to get people's heads down, but people are now sufficiently out of the danger zone, at least the people they were shooting at, that they're not going to get hit. Takes us to Sobislaw. Sobislaw, people around you are definitely retreating. Do you want to join in the retreat or mount your defiant stand? Sobislaw.
Shit, I seriously muted myself? Fuck, I forgot to unmute myself, but I'm just gonna say this. Things are not looking good. Also, let's not have anyone die any further, so yeah, we dipping.
Alright, yeah, you're close enough to the southern edge of the map that you're just able to get out of here safely. And with the last player character having left, you are aware of the exchange of gunfire for a few more brief moments, but the remaining NATO soldiers also retreat off of the southern edge of the map into relative safety, and you all are able to get back together and rally up by your trucks, which are a little bit of a distance off of the southern edge of the map. What do you do as you reach your trucks?
He gets on the radio.
What the bloody hell was that?
You
Answer
saw
that question.
Soviets holding a position that we need.
And charging in broad daylight. And you charged in broad daylight.
Hey, I got the information that
Fucking
hey,
daylight.
I got information that they were digging a trench. We only saw 3. So we thought to take the opportunity.
Quick question, DM, can I roll how much I'm just gonna fucking snap over this absolute stupidity that was? This
I mean, you can. I'll just have a look at what stats would be
strategic
appropriate for that.
dumpster fire?
It would be a cool under fire roll if you wanted to self-impose that. I'm not going to make you. And yeah, okay, yeah, cool under fire. All right, I'm just going to roll the unit dice because there should be a unit dice in there, so I'm going to roll that for you. But put your unit dice there at a B. Okay, you would, with that 6 from the B, you would pass, so you can choose to do what you want.
It would be a little more strained than what I just did. like definitely restrained and just absolutely bamboozled over the sheer retardation. Like, if it was just the information of trenches being dug, why run in guns blazing in broad daylight from which the Soviets could easily seen us, which they did? And I am and probably it's also because the player is fucking frustrated and literally just showed up in the middle of it and is absolutely bamboozled why the fuck this happened.
These things can happen. These things can happen. But okay,
God
whilst this is
damn,
going,
had to remind me of fucking certain D&D sessions. God damn.
whilst this is going on, and there is a heated exchange of views coming from Lieutenant Sobersloud, the Commodore who was attempting to raise people on the radio. You can't raise anyone on the radio. However, you are not surprised by this because you are out of radio range with Sestakova.
Damn it.
I think it may be best to retreat.
He takes the. He goes.
Yeah, we're getting in a truck.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. He still feels sore still, so he goes, "You can drive."
Oh, can I
He has
get
been shot in the head?
Also,
Can we get
says
medical
absolutely
attention?
fucking nothing over this.
Sorry, Tiny, you were saying?
Can I get medical attention?
You absolutely can. It would be a medical aid roll from whoever wants to do it, which I'm guessing is going to be either Dr. Rostogram or the medic NPC.
He would seek a rostrum.
Did Rostergame need to make a roll to patch herself up in this whole
Yeah,
process?
you can do that, yes. I think that might be a straight medical aid roll, and this is just for dealing with like immediate hit point damage. The critical stuff will be long-term care.
I'll be honest, I think she's at 5 damage. Anyway. Okay.
Okay, so 5 becomes 3. You heal 2 hit points worth of damage.
Right.
You now can't
And then-
heal further hit points from that fight in this way. It has to be timed from now on in.
And then again for MD.
Yep, you can make that roll. Flat if you're not using anything. If you're using equipment, like limited equipment, then it would buff it, but you don't have to do that.
Nah, don't do that. Just fine.
She like starts to pull out the med kit. He's like, don't.
Emil, you heal 1 hit point.
Ow!
Well, you said not to use the med kit.
Yeah, it's. Thank you very much.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The Commodore takes off the helmet.
Oh, yeah. The Commodore, just for Soberslal's benefit, the Commodore got shot in the head twice. The Commodore did not have a good day. And also, the Commodore is the only person in the party who outright went down.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Commodore got shot in the chest with a PKM machine gun and then shot in the head twice with AKs. Once with a PKM and once with a 74. You've not had a good day at all.
There's kind of a badass.
Some of us getting increasingly pissed over this. In a British way.
Of course.
In a very British manner.
Is my helmet ruined?
No, the helmet is still functional.
Okay, cool.
I think Rostergame's needing a new helmet though, since hers broke.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as you're driving away in the trucks, where are you driving to?
You need medical attention.
I'm driving down to Shestakova.
Okay, driving Sestakova. Driver, please just make me a driving roll at -1.
Okay.
Okay. So as you're driving along, you do what the party did as you're coming in, which is stick to the hard ground near the railway tracks to avoid getting bogged down. It's not too long before you reach the concrete road, and then you jump on that and you drive to Sestakova without incident. I'm just going to pop back to the other map so I can tell you your situation. So you're aware of your own sort of wounds. However,
Was I injured?
no, not Soboslaw, but like the party as a whole are aware of your own wounds. Of the 12 NATO troops who came with you to like try and hold this bridge, 8 are left alive. The trucks are all in good condition. If it makes you feel any better, you killed as a group 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 Soviet soldiers. So you lost 4 people and you killed 7 people.
They're gonna be hurting.
That does not make Rostrogam feel better, but she won't say that to the group.
Soboslav says nothing. In fact, he's probably just giving everyone. He's just not saying anything at all.
I only got 1 kill, didn't I? No, I got 2. That's right, because
Okay.
the first. So
Yeah, you got 2 people. Well,
I
Drive.
put 2 notches into the SVD's stock.
Very nice. Feel free to make a note of how many notches you keep. Keep track of that on your own sheet if you want.
Done.
But very nice. So, you drive back to the city of Sestakova, seemingly in a somewhat subdued and grim silence after this expensive but not disastrous encounter. As you return to the NATO base, you are allowed in after a couple of very routine checks, but you are allowed in, and your wounded are like some of the NATO troops are a little wounded, but yeah, they'll live. Your wounded are carried away and taken for medical attention. And Dr. Rostgram in particular, as you're the one with the most obvious injury, you've got a medic like fussing over you and guiding you in towards the medical tent. And then later on, they'll also guide the Commodore and Emil into medical tents. Do you resist or do you go with them?
I go with them.
I go.
With a major headache.
Yes. Well, yes. Emil, Soboslaw, and Rostogram, please all make me stamina rolls at +2.
Sorry, it took me that long to find stamina.
Yeah, and
Wait.
then put in the +2.
Okay, I suck again. How to do the +2 again?
So what would your normal values be?
B and D.
2Ds. So
Oh, so
that
B
would become
as in for Bald and D for David. So it would become a BB? Balder Balder?
yeah, it would become a Bravo Bravo. Yeah, just for this one roll.
Which is DD10.
Yeah.
So 2 1.
Okay. 2 1s. So and remember when you're doing these kinds of things, yeah, you just change the temporary skill roller. Don't change your core stats, so you're going to start
No.
losing track.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all absolutely fine. Nothing goes wrong. You are all lying down in your in the medical tent, being tended to. You're not even Rostogram isn't allowed to tend to herself. People are tending to her. As the day passes, and as you sort of like head into the next day, the following occurs, and I'm assuming that you three spend the whole time in medical tent because they do not want to let you out. We'll come to Soboslav
Yep.
in a moment. Okay. The following will occur to the people in the medical tent, which is. .48. I do apologize.
And what happens?
Okay. Yep. So, what will happen is over the next 3 days, if you are willing to spend the whole time here, everybody, including Dr. Rustogram's critical effect with the medical rolls that the medical staff made, will be fully healed, except for Emil. Emil, you ain't feeling so hot. Please make me 3 stamina rolls without any positives. Okay. For the first day and the second day, you start sweating and sweating hard. You're showing signs of a fever. You're hot. You're cold. You're shivering for no particular reason. You are incredibly thirsty, and you are drinking vast amounts of water. This is because your wound, due to your failed roll, became infected.
Of course.
Should have asked her to use the med kit.
However, the medical staff who are with you realize what's happening and start giving you all sorts of extra kinds of treatment. If you were out in the wild and not in a medical tent, this would almost certainly have been a death sentence. However, because you are here, it will take the whole party, if they all want to wait for you, an extra 3 days. But they are able to overcome your infection and return you to full status and full health.
Yes,
Survive.
because we need to figure out another course of action.
Yep. I cannot wait until something like that happens when you're not within easy access to a medical facility, when you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere and you cannot get help. That I have worked out is how player characters die. It isn't so much the combat, it's not being able to heal from the combat.
And it's also player stupidity.
So, at Sobazar, meanwhile, you've got 6 days of being able to do stuff around the base as you want, because you were not wounded.
Maintenance on everything, just to keep myself restrained, you know? Just maintenance on everything.
Absolutely fine. Give me that tech roll, just flat tech roll, just to see how you do.
Got it.
Yeah, over these 6 days, you are able to do quite a lot of very valuable work around the base. You help get running water actually working again to some sections of the base. Like, you're getting the pumps up and down, you do the plumbing, you get all that cleaned out, you replace a lot of pipes. That's your 6 days, is a lot of plumbing work, but dear God, does the base appreciate actually being able to get water when they twist a tap. You do know that it's not coming from the normal water system. It's coming off of water butts and so forth that are in the base, and it's incredibly low pressure, but you nonetheless still have running water.
Good.
Well, it is now August the 7th. Unless you want to do anything else in that period other than lie in hospital and go,
Basically, don't. My character will be still in hospital unless he gets released early.
After 3 days, your character is released. It's Emil who's the one that takes the longest time, not because of the wounds, but because of the infection.
Oh well, he should have taken the med kit.
Actually, the med kit would not have made any difference. What gave you all the +2 to that roll was getting good medical treatment very quickly after the wound, and it's just even with the +2, Emil fucked up.
Yeah.
2 1s. That's really good.
But yeah, you're
I
gonna have 3 days of being able to do stuff around the base.
I already rolled what I'm gonna do.
don't know. The Commodore would just try and find something to do. Keep his mind occupied.
One thing the Major will ask for is for your information about the defenses as much as is possible, and whether or not with a larger force you think you can try it again. But at night,
yeah.
or with better planning.
At night with better planning, we can take it with more troops.
At night? So it'll be hard to see where both people.
It will be. I mean, if you don't want to go at night, you can go at a different time. The plan would be absolutely up to you.
Oh, I'm not saying we shouldn't.
Yeah. If you tell the Major
about
what
in
your
the
plan
evening?
is.
I mean, yeah?
Yeah, you absolutely can do that.
Yeah, Emil will be in the hospital wing not knowing what's going on yet.
Oh, yeah. He's not. He has no input.
Rostogram, as a side note, you will be released on like the 4th day. So you can take part in all of this as well.
She could. I do imagine that she's checking in on Emil regularly, though.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm sure that, again, I'm sorry, Sorrel, I wish you were here, because I'm not sure how mad Dalton is at Rostagam right now for running when, anyway. But I imagine that she's probably had a good talking to from him. Or at least they've had some sort of conversation, but I'll have to check in with Sorrel sometime between games. But, yeah, if she's not in the middle of... Because, I mean, I know that no one in the medical wing is letting her do anything for Emil right now, because they're like, we got this, okay. So she is able to be part of this conversation. Well, I don't know if she is going to be much help in this conversation, because she is more of a doctor than any sort of combat specialist. Or tactician.
And Sobasao is too pissed off to actually be part of this. So he's just focusing on what he does best.
The purposes of your planning, I will tell you the following.
He's so pissed.
Which is that the Major, now that the Major knows that this place is defended, whilst you were all healing up, the Major said a small scouting force, like 2 or 3 people, to just go keep an eye on things and periodically report back. And I mean, they'd have to walk back and there'd be like swapping shifts. But yeah. And through that period of monitoring, you learn the following. 1, there are a few more people in the base that you just never saw, but not that many. 2, they have been reinforced with fresh troops to make up for their casualties. And 3, a number of soldiers were seen crossing the railway bridge. Actually, I'm going to roll dice to see. Oh, they rolled well. Okay, yeah, not a number of soldiers. A Spetsnaz team were seen crossing the bridge to from the Russian zone in the north into your zone in the south, and they've just disappeared into the woods, and are clearly up to something on the south side of the river. They could not track them.
So that means we're going to have to let the Polish know as well. I mentioned to the Major, let the Polish know about it as well. So they know that Spetsnaz are somewhere, but we don't know where.
I'm just grateful for that information. For the purposes of your assault, the Major is willing to release quite a lot more infantry to you. She is also willing to use some of the rarer supplies that are in the Russian hold, including the use of a mortar.
Whoa.
Gotta make sure those land in the right spot.
Yes.
Savaslav would definitely like to, using that.
Yeah, you can choose to use the mortar if you want. It would be a heavy weapons kind of specialism, or you can choose to let the NPC crew use it.
If you're giving us that access, I want one person to be operating that. Sarah Torbeck.
Tolbeck, yep, absolutely. They will let Tolbeck do that. Tolbeck is a machine gunner and an anti-rocket woman. She's not a mortar woman, but she's still actually got like heavy weapons. She just doesn't have the specialty to get the +1.
Yeah. You'll probably need an extra set of hands at the back there, loading it, and do you have anyone in mind?
I mean, a mortar is like a team of 3 people, and
Yeah.
she has like generic NPC soldiers who can just do that in conjunction with Sarah Tolbeck.
Yeah. I'll definitely give him the coordinates, which ones to strike and which ones not to strike.
So, tell me if you think this is going to be the kind of thing that you want, and if not, we can discuss how you might want to alter the plan, how you might want to do things, etc. But if you want to just assault the bridge head on again, the Major is willing to release a significant number of extra infantry to you. So previously you were going there with 12 people. She is willing to send an extra 18 people, so that will more than double the size of your force to assist in this, which will include the mortar crew.
I would suggest that we attack it more closer to dark.
Okay.
How long does it take to dig trenches?
It depends on the style of trench. So if you're just digging a real quick firing trench, which is something that you just jump into quickly and start firing, you can do that in minutes. However, if you want to dig like a real deep trench, that can take and like properly revet it with overhead cover and like corrugated iron and that kind of thing. That can take the better part of a day. And if you're digging the kind of trench that you live and sleep in with bunkers and so forth, that can take, depending on how many people you've got, days or weeks.
If we have some way.
The first kind of those trenches, the real basic firing trench, soldiers are trained to dig those so quickly that they can do it whilst they're being shot at. It's not a good plan, but you can do it.
Okay. Just so there's an option to increase our cover. But at the same time, one thing that never Rustigam would somewhat remember, I would think, now that she's had a bit of time and space, is that one thing we never did was actually see what... We know they were digging trenches, we don't really know what. So we do not know necessarily what kind of trench it is, so we did not make it to any of their trenches to see if if they're expected to be living out of those, or if it's just something that was done quickly. So it may be worth considering that they're, people might be popping in and out when we think we have them all.
Yep, that is
Yes.
largely true. You do, however, know this, which is for the firing slip machine gun trench one, the one that you hit with the rocket. That kind of thing is is the mid range of those three options I gave you. So that is revetted overhead cover, like corrugated iron and wood, but not the kind of thing that you'd live in unless it was desperation.
I go down to Salva Slaw, say in Polish that you check on the mortar.
DM, check my rolls.
Yeah, there's a lot of tech rolls. You've been doing a lot of good repair work around the base. If you want one of those to be checking the mortar, then yes, you can check the mortar. The mortar, it's a Russian mortar, but it's in perfect operating condition.
Yeah, I'll use one of the tech rolls for that, I guess.
Absolutely. Also, for the first time, Soboslaw, your Commodore has just spoken to you in Polish. Do you have any reaction to this?
A very delayed reaction, clearly, yes. But it's more like a subtle twitch of bewilderment of just all of a sudden I'm being spoken to in Polish like this. Especially after this whole stupid debacle, you know? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Still doesn't really say anything.
Okay. So, I'm going to say because of your intelligence trait, and also the fact that, I mean, you are very high ranking, although you're Navy, but combined with the wise expertise of your Army officer, Lieutenant Soboslaw, and grizzled veterans like Dalton, you know that as part of standard training of how to attack a bridge, you are encouraged, where possible, to attack from both ends simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to work out a way to do this?
He now knows both positions, all possible positions they will be shooting at. He goes, "Got extra 18 soldiers at our disposal. That's including mortar. Where do you...
You are going so long as you can get across the river, it's relatively easy to attack it from the north side. The difficulty is, do you have a way of getting across the river that doesn't involve one of the two bridges that you know Soviet troops are sitting at? If the answer to that question is no, then fine. I'm just making sure you're thinking about it.
Options?
How deep and wide is the river?
That's one of the questions.
So at the point of the bridge, which is a narrower point, the river is about 20 meters wide. It can, however, get quite a bit wider than that at some points. In terms of depth, very rarely are you going to be able to just wade across it. It is a swimming river.
Odds of being able to build up a raft or find a boat to get across.
Yeah, we would
Makeshift
need...
bridge.
Also, as a side note, although it wasn't relevant because you didn't get there, the recon team can report this to you. If I'll take you back to the map with the trenches and so forth on. Hang on. You may be able to see that some sections of the riverbank have kind of got these cliff things, those are sections of the riverbank which are so steep that if you were to get there, you'd have to climb. You couldn't just walk out. The sections, however, that don't have those cliff things are shallow enough or like smooth enough that you can just walk out if you got there. Also, the recon team reports that the trench that you interrupted them digging, they are digging it again.
Okay. We're going at night to minimize. He mentions it to everyone. Minimize the casualties, and we have the use of a mortar.
Is there a team that's going across the river?
That's what we need to work out.
The major doesn't have any way to get across the river, like at the base. You would need to come up with something or put something in place if you wanted that to happen.
I got nothing.
Yeah,
Because there's
that's
only one.
absolutely fair.
Because there's only one option is to go over that bridge, but that's the problem. Is we need to.
Is there any chance that any of our Polish allies might be willing to support us in that? Seeing as they have aircraft.
Yeah. I'm going to do a roll for the major to see how good she is at this. Now, it will be an opposed roll, so you might not see the opposition, but you'll see at least her attempt. Bearing in mind that the opposed roll will be at buffs because this request is incredibly high. Okay, and now, okay, so I'll turn off GM secret rolls so you can see the result. Another one. Okay, so a 1 and an 8, which means that the opposed roll also got a success. And given how difficult this is, because normally when it's an NPC versus a player, like the player wins all ties, but because this was an NPC versus an NPC, I'm going to give the tie win to the Poles because this was a very not dangerous request, but shall we say cheeky request, considering you were trying to kill one another a few days ago.
We did just send a bunch of Polish refugees to their place too. Hard to know if that makes them more or less likely to help us.
That is true. But the Poles give you a "thank you very much for telling us, we wish you the best of luck, but you're on your own" response.
And we did feed him that information that about the snats that crew.
You did, but nonetheless, they're thankful for that, and you get the feeling that might help them, like help you in another situation. But you are asking them to spend lives and risk their single most valuable asset. Nah. Particularly with the major only getting one roll, one success.
I get it.
Nah.
I get it. Hey, we're forgetting about one thing. You guys.
Yeah.
Well, we can ask our NATO friends from the north to actually launch an assault from the north.
Can they make it? If so, hell yeah.
Think about it. We launch an attack on the south bank, and they launch an attack on the north bank. They will only expect us on the south bank, and
it is.
But whatever happened with the Radomsko and Kamiansk troops that were marching down towards the bridge at Czestochowa?
So what happened there is they kind of got to the bridge after all the refugees came across, and NATO troops and Soviet troops have not started shooting at one another, but NATO troops are guarding the south side of the bridge and Soviet troops are guarding the north side of the bridge and just kind of staring at one another. And when I say guarding it, I don't mean sitting around in checkpoint style fashion. I mean in trenches staring at one another.
Well, if we can find a way to communicate to our friends up north, seems like that would work. But the question is, how do we, if we have Rastagam's a doctor, so she doesn't know about how the radio communications are right now between us and Sestakova. And
yeah, you know that because it's very obvious even to people who aren't familiar with radios that the radio communications between the NATO troops up north in Pripyat-Tibunsk and you in Sestakova, you're out of range. If you wanted to talk to them, someone would have to physically take a message.
Yeah. And that's going to require us to go... kind of in a rock and a hard place right now.
Agreed.
If you wanted to, you could attempt the assault. It's so annoying. I say it's so annoying. That's unfair. It's not annoying, but I'm sitting here thinking, I know the answer to this, and I can't tell you, but I won't tell you.
Or we could head west.
Back towards Praska.
Towards Germany. Where that city that has a stash, and we can head it somewhat around the Soviets.
Roclaw?
East.
East.
Yeah. So you mean like go down roughly where that arrow is, that way?
I can't really see because my yeah.
Wait, that's.
I can roll, but I can't see the...
I'll make sure I've taken you to the page. Oh, I've taken you there.
Didn't you say west?
Oh, yeah, west would
Yeah.
take you back towards the major Soviet offensive. Because remember, up here, you know those are
East.
a ton of Soviets.
East?
East would take you into unknown, unscouted land.
Can we go east and see what we can find? We go to the village where we were and head north and see where we can actually scout shimmy around that way.
Okay.
We do that.
Gonna need. Are you on the world map?
No.
You see it.
No.
Okay, I'll take all the players away and then drag all the players back because you should be able to see it. So I'll take all the players away. Take all the players back. You see it now.
It's probably me.
Try
Try and
refresh.
refresh. I'll try and refresh. It's blurry, but I can still see it.
It'll de-blur in a few minutes.
Yep. So I was thinking going back this way
Okay, to Praska. Okay.
and see how far north we see how far
Towards
at least
Velon.
go through that way
Okay.
instead of going along that and see if we can hit the bridge that way or not.
Okay, get across that way. All right. Do you want to go as a small player character and the scouting team, or take
Yeah.
and then come back with your plan, or take everyone?
No, take a small team and to scout it.
Okay, PCs only. So, the morning of what is going to be at this rate August the 8th. It is a slightly overcast morning. You get the feeling that a big old rainstorm is coming because it has been days and days of glorious sunshine. You get into the truck. All your wounds are healed. However, only your physical wounds. Who knows about your emotional wounds, your sense of pride or confidence? And Commodore, if you're doing the driving, please give me just a straight driving roll as you drive through Crespis and towards Praska. Excellent. So you're able to drive the very familiar route. It's probably the most driven you've done in Poland. You're able to drive that very familiar route without difficulty. Nothing's changed. Nothing surprises you. You're not ambushed or anything along those lines. When you get to Praska, which was the former Major's base, it still has her troops in it, just not nearly as many. And they've clearly got the place still under their control, but it's as I said, nowhere near as severely occupied. When you go through and you're about to head north, one of the NCOs, who is sort of in charge of the checkpoint to head north, as he's checking your vehicle and making sure that everything's okay. He asks you, "So you're heading north? Why are you heading up that way?"
We're scouting around that way for the major to see any more any ways we can get across the river.
They nod, and they say, "All right, but be careful. Be real careful. I can't guess what it is that the Reds are up to, but in their big push a month or two ago, they went through Wayland, and they seem to be holding that corridor open so they can keep their supplies going. It looks like they were just bypassing us, and they were heading towards Germany. And I don't know how things are going, but I do know that there are still Soviet troops in Wayland garrisoning the town."
Oh, pre-warn you. We see some Brask. What is the unit called again?
Oh, Spetsnaz.
Spetsnaz being seen crossing the river as well. The Crespis.
Curse is under his breath. Shit.
Be on high alert.
It's going to be a problem if
Yeah.
they choose to care about us.
Pre-warning you, the major does know, so she was alerted to it. So don't worry. Just keep an eye out. If you see Soviets lurking around, just alert the major to it.
All right. Thanks for the update, but fucking Spetsnaz. I mean, they're bad enough if they try and assault you properly, but they're the kind of guys where we put out a picket at night and we wake up the next morning and we find our picket men dead at their posts, and we never heard a thing. That's the kind of shit they do. Fuck.
Yeah, keep an eye out on your soldiers, okay?
Thanks for the heads up, Commodore.
That's okay. Oh, plus, the good thing about if we can see if we can get across at the bridge over here, we're hoping to meet up with the division that's the helicopter division over NATO friends.
That's good. Let's hope we can really get them up in the air and that we can find the fuel for them. That might help turn the tide of this.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Best of luck, Commodore.
Best of luck. And he continues on.
Now, when you, and I'm aware that we usually finish around about 11 or a little time after 11, my time, so we're coming up. But since you have been forewarned of the potentials of Soviet troops in Velun, do you drive up to the city? Do you scout it? Do you try and drive into the fields and avoid it at all? What's your plan?
Oh, we're gonna
scout it. Scout it, just to see what's what, and I want to scout it from a distance, not full on go in there. Just from a distance, yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Emil, as the most scoutiest person here, please make me a flat recon roll.
No. Hey!
Yeah. So you crawl up to get a good vantage point on the town of Velun, and you sit there for a while, and you just watch what's going on. What's what? The first and most obvious thing that you notice is that Velun is clearly a lived-in city. There are people milling about doing, I say city, town, lived-in town. There are people milling about, going about their daily business. You can't quite tell what they're doing from this far away, but there's clearly life. The town looks as though it's been partly repaired, but not hugely. The second thing that you notice is that this place is definitely guarded by Soviet troops. It's relatively easy to pick out soldiers, and it's relatively easy to work out from some of their movement that they've at least partly dug in. You can also very easily tell that these are Soviets because you see one or two BMPs. So they're either Soviet or they're Polish, and you've been told that there are likely Soviets in this region. So yeah, that makes sense. As you are watching, after a bit, and I'm assuming you sit and watch for a while, you become aware of movement coming down the road towards Wayland from the north. You let this come into view, and it takes quite a few minutes because it's not moving fast. Whatever it is, it's not trucks and cars and vehicles. Eventually, you are able to see a convoy, but it's a convoy dragged by oxes, horses, those kinds of. It's an animal-drawn convoy. And you see what look like wagons with tarpaulins over them. You can't tell what's in the wagons, but definitely full of supplies or full of something. And it is guarded by Soviet troops as an animal-drawn convoy is heading into Valen.
Strange. What are they dragging? Just carts and wagons?
Carts and wagons, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, that's supplies, though. Something. Well, yeah, I return and I let everybody know.
You would also be able to tell that you could, assuming there aren't any Russian patrols, you could, in theory, get around Valen because those hexes on the world map are 10-kilometer hexes. There's enough room for you to get around Valen, assuming a patrol doesn't intercept you.
Yeah. Commodore?
Yeah, what does the team do with this information?
Down in his little pocket, notepad. But we drive around in the fields.
All right,
Away
make
from-
me a driving roll at -1.
Yep. I can do that. Would my driving modifier actually count?
It would count. Yeah.
I should have been adding it.
Okay. So you're able to stay on the hard ground. Every now and again, it gets a bit dicey, but it's been hard sun, no rain for ages, so the ground is unusually dry. Which was -1, and you're able to successfully drive around the town of Valen, and you're not intercepted by a patrol without bogging down or anything along those lines. You get back on the concrete road and you start heading towards the bridge. This has taken most of the day. If you keep pressing on, you'll be hitting the bridge at night. Do you want to stop and camp, or do you want to press ahead?
Can we stop and camp and get somebody to keep a scout out? You want to scout out? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Emil, make me a recon roll. Okay, so you head up to get a vantage point on the bridge. Now it's at night, so your ability to see what's going on is greatly reduced. However, because it's nighttime, the sight of a campfire sticks out like a sore, bloody thumb. Some of the illumination, like if anything, the fact that there is a campfire, it kind of makes it difficult for your eyes to adjust and pick out some of the subtler things that might be concealed in darkness. You can, however, tell that there are troops here. It doesn't look like as major a presence, but there are definitely Soviet troops here.
Yeah, enough that we don't actually want to run into them.
Not accidentally. This doesn't strike you as a surprise because bridges are absolutely vital, and yeah. Bridge also, you can tell even with the firelight, looks as though it was blown up and repaired. Can't tell in the firelight how well it was repaired.
Cuss word. Yeah, we're not crossing there.
Yeah, he notes that down. The bridge is occupied by Russians. He notes that down, so he goes, okay, we'll continue north to see how far north they are with the...
Now, so you do that. Do you get back on the main road, or do you stay off-road?
We stay off-road.
Who's on guard during the night?
Can I take part of it?
You absolutely can. I'll just need at least one other person to volunteer.
Okay, I'll do it.
Dalton. Oh!
The two people who were on night watch can give me recon rolls. Oh wow! Neil. Wow. Well, it really pains me to say this.
I don't see anything.
Yeah.
But I know there's nothing there.
There's no ghosts tonight.
Oh, that's good. Hate ghosts.
Yeah, there are no ghosts tonight. And Wolf, whilst you don't see anything either, you get the feeling that's not because you are a supermaster in the same way that Emil is, but nonetheless, the night passes uneventfully. I'll need you all to knock off a day's worth of food and water from your sheets as you continue north on the next day.
Oh, how much
Okay.
water did they give?
So they restocked you back up to the point where you would have had 2 days of water and 2 days of food when you left. So you're
Okay.
now, so knock off 1 day worth of each of those. As you continue to head north, do you head towards Zlokslao, which is actually not on the river, or do you stay off-road the whole way and try and head towards Serdaz?
Keep off road until we hit
Okay. Make me a driving roll at -3. This is because of two things. One, you are driving through a forested area at one point. And two, it starts to rain. It starts to rain hard. And the mud is getting boggy.
I will only have to go down 2 because of my driving.
Alright. So you're driving along. So you're driving along. And trying to. I mean, Soboslaw can't roll because Soboslaw isn't driving.
Yeah, sorry, it's
sorry,
just kind of drag.
Okay, it's fine. So yeah, you're driving along. Everything's going fine until in the forest section at one point your wheel digs in hard. You wiggle and rev and so forth to try and get out of it before you properly dig in. When you do that, you suddenly gain some purpose or some purchase, and your truck lurches forward violently and goes pronk into a tree. It's not so fucked up. Like the radiator hasn't broken, the engine block hasn't smashed or anything along those lines. But you probably don't want to do that again.
Yeah, he'll make sure of that. He'll go, you want to drive Draco? Seems I'm not fully 100%. Okay. It's like I'm driving.
All right.
Wait.
Get back.
Oh.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Draco, do you want to drive?
So you get I see the driving wheel. So you get the truck sort of out through the forests and back out into open country as the rain continues to drive down. The pitter patter on the bonnet. The windscreen wipers are barely able to keep up with the torrential downpour. You start hearing the rolling rumbling of thunder somewhere off in the distance. You are moving very slowly as this vehicle is not built to do what you are currently doing. And as you approach the town of Sarads, the sun is starting to set. You've made very slow progress with these driving rolls. And just as you're approaching the town of Sarads, the truck bogs down again. Both of its rear wheels sink deep into something. And if you're going to try and get it out, you're going to need to get some stuff put. Like, you're going to need to get inventive. You're not going to be able to do this from just trying to drive out of it.
Let's get inventive.
We just came through a forest, right? Maybe there's some
Yeah.
wood. It doesn't necessarily need to be dry, but
currently about there. So the woods are about 10 kilometers behind you, if not a bit further.
Don't we have a bit of wood since the last time?
You do actually,
both?
yes.
Why don't we use them?
Oh, yeah.
No. It would be a flat tech roll to use them well.
Hey! He looks at Draco like, you're good at that.
I got A intelligence D tech. Can I assist?
Not particularly, because if you were assisting, it would be Soberslau telling you, put that there, do this thing, do that, like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair.
So I'm just going to put little red markings by the bridge that you said, yeah, there are Soviets here.
Hey, Draco. Want to take your frustrations out?
Not a word.
We need someone who's good at tech to get the wood into place.
He still says nothing, but just a tiny glance.
If you want to do that, it will be a tech roll.
Rolled.
Okay, you are able to get the wood into position very, very easily with your masterful ability. Anybody who wants to do the shoving, because someone's going to need to do the shoving, I need flat stamina rolls from anybody who wants to shove.
Okay.
Fuck me.
Let's go, man. Let's see how
Obviously, it goes fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Stamina rolls.
He goes, come on, Dalton, as well.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's getting dark. It's warm because of the season, but the rain is making you feel cold. The wind is up. You're starting to get like the feeling that you're going to get rashes through your clothes. Anything that's designed to be slightly waterproof is not particularly working well here. You're getting hungry, but you are able to get the truck out of the mud and keep on moving towards the town of Sarads. It's not dark yet. It's just the sun. It's evening. The sun is low in the horizon. Do you want to stop before you get to Sarads and make camp, or do you want to push on to Sarads and scout it out?
We're gonna make camp before, so we can at least.
How close to Sarads do you want to get when you make camp?
I want to be out of sight.
Okay. Do you want one hill to be in between you and Sarads, or one forest, or do you want 2 or 3? Like, how many features do you want between you and Sarads?
I want a hill, a forest, another hill, and a forest.
Okay, you won't be able to get all of those without being in a completely different hex. But if you want to be in the same hex, you could probably get like 2 of those.
A hill and forest. Yep.
Okay. Let me have a look. Is there going to be a forest? There's not going to be a forest, but you can get 2 hills.
Yeah, 2 hills. Perfectly fine with me.
Alright, so you get 2 hills in between you and Sarads, and you bunker down for the night. It is a hard downpouring throughout the whole night. This is an unseasonable amount of rain. This is the consequence of too much sun for too long, but you also know that the world and how its weather systems move has changed since the apocalypse somewhat. Everything's kind of gotten a bit more severe. you also realize that even though it's still August, these storms means that time is moving on and that summer will soon be over, that you'll be heading into the grim approach of autumn and then the terror of winter, a time when you can expect millions to die due to starvation and illness. But that is months from now. You have a slightly more immediate problem. It doesn't affect you directly, but a little way off to the side of the camp, you are aware of a mudslide in an almost improvised river. This isn't just going to be a storm, this is going to be floods. As the weather continues to harangue you through the night, anybody who's on not recon duty, night watch duty, so I'm going to need at least 2 people, make me a recon roll. Flat.
Tips.
Alright.
Dalton.
Okay. I'll roll for Dalton. Okay. Dalton sees nothing through his watch. Emil, you at one point think maybe you see some movement in that little kind of, it's not a forest, but like a tiny little cluster of trees and bushes up on a ridge. And you're looking at it and you say, what's going on there? What's happening? Until eventually you see the ground around that cluster of trees shift suddenly, and an entire tree comes down, uprooted by the collapse of the earth in this torrential downpouring of rain.
Fuck. But we're safe.
No safe. You look around and you can see your truck slowly sinking. Not like
Well,
up to the radiator block or anything, but like you look at the wheels and you notice like all of the wheels are at least halfway sunk down into mud.
I would like to let, I think at least Oberslav know. Soberslav? He's the tech guy, right?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, I just want to know if he's worried about it.
You can give me a tech roll, Soboslav, to see if you should be worried about it. Okay. So I was just a few more planks of wood and you'll be able to get this thing out in the morning, no trouble.
Okay. Alright, that's good.
Okay. Other than that, the night passes uneventfully. In the morning, everybody knock off 1 more ration of water, 1 more ration of food. Unless you have extra sources of water, things are going to start becoming a problem very shortly.
Yep, I'm all.
You are just outside the town of Sarads, and when you move to try and get the truck to move, it is sunk deep. You put some planks down there, as Draco said. Oh yeah, it'll be a problem. It'll be fine. But you can't get the planks in. It's like too deep for that, and too many wheels have gone down. You start trying to dig out the earth around it so you can then get planks in, but the earth is so wet and sodden it keeps just collapsing back in. You can, in theory, get the truck out, but you're going to need a lot more wood. You're probably going to want to wait for the earth to dry so it doesn't all just flood back in, particularly whenever you dig a hole. Like, even if the mud doesn't flood back in, water from the ground does, and then that causes things to seep lower. You're probably going to need to wait for the ground to dry, you're probably going to need planks, and you're probably going to need a tow. You might not be able to get all 3 of those. You might have to get creative about the tow.
Emil, can you go and scout out the town?
Of course. Just another recon check?
Yes, it would be, yes. Okay. So, you crawl up This makes you incredibly filthy, but it's the only way you can be sure not to be spotted. You
I don't mind.
crawl up the wretched, muddy ground up to a position where you're able to observe Sarad's in the morning sun. You observe the following things. 1, it is a small town. 2, near its periphery is a bridge over the river. 3, that bridge is in good condition. 4, that bridge has Soviet soldiers on it. 5, the town of Sarads appears to have had a large pen built outside of it, like a huge cattle ranch kind of pen. However, there's only some cattle in there, a little bit of horses, not much, but there's beast of burden livestock in there. There is a disproportionately large number of Soviet troops here. Not like whole battalions or anything like that, but more than you might need to just casually hold the town. And you kind of become aware of why when looking through your sniper scope with that very good recon roll. You can see what a Soviet soldier come out who's wearing military police style uniforms. He's got a clipboard and he's talking to some people, and you're able to work out, based on what you've seen before now and the kind of people who are here, that this is a major junction for Soviet supply. Nothing is stopping here. Nobody's really based here except the small guard force, but lots and lots of stuff is coming through.
And the pens, might they look like maybe a day or two ago they were full of horses and cattle that might have been used to bring supplies down south?
Yes, it does look a lot like that, partly by how disturbed the ground is, and largely by how disturbed the ground is. You're too far away to pick up on other signs, but a lot of disturbed ground suggests there was a herd here not long ago.
Emil is very excited when he returns and tells the Commodore about this. It looks like we have found a major supply station, major supply post.
You didn't see huge warehouses. You saw some buildings that could maybe have stuff in it, but as I said, it looks like stuff comes through here.
Well,
rather than
yes.
staying here.
Yeah. But there's so much cattle here, so they must go back and forth, right?
That is true, yeah.
Does he come back to report it or not?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Sorry. And especially adds that he believes this may be a major supply, throughfare, I guess. There aren't no evidence of major supplies here, but a lot of supplies are being driven through, especially by horse and cattle.
Horse and cattle might be strong enough to help us pull a vehicle out.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the problem.
under guard.
It's under guard, yeah.
You would estimate, Emil, that the Soviet force that is here, stationed here at this exact moment in time, is in the dozens, but it's definitely not in the hundreds.
Dozens are still dozens too many.
How good can you get them cattle to them gates to open to spook the horses?
As in, will the gates stand up to being stampeded?
Yes.
You get the feeling that they could probably stand up to the horses, and they'll probably be able to stand up to like a handful of the cattle. But if all of the cattle that are still in there charge the gate, and when I say all, like, well, there's more than 3 of them, but like if you got 3 or more of them to charge the gate, yeah, it's not gonna stand up to it. 2 of them might be a stretch. It's more psychological for the cattle.
Can we spook the cattle to stampede the gate?
I don't know.
Certainly have the ability to make loud noises.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, frick, I could shoot at or shoot one of them. It helps get into panic, but one, that would get the soldiers on us, and 2, I don't know if we can make them panic in a productive direction. They might just panic and run in circles, or
You need to be on the one side to actually do it. So, say you want to go make a cattle herd of cattle to go somewhere. You go on the opposite side to spook them. They can run that way, the opposite way.
True. But it's still.
He goes looking through. He goes, "Do we have any pots and pans?"
That we would have to get so close, and the Russians would. The Russians would know.
You do have like a camping stove and what comes with that, but Emil is correct that you'd have to get very close for that to work.
I do appreciate the thought and the idea, though.
Also, Commodore, give me a straight recon roll. This is more for your intelligence thing. Okay, 1's enough. So, you will recall, perhaps, that the campaign started not too far from here. It started a few hexes westwards, just south of the town of the large town of Kalisz. That's where it all began, with a big Soviet push. Hence those big red arrows. Those are the axes of advance that you knew about. Before everything went to absolute fuck, whilst you weren't being attacked from that direction, the most northerly you heard about Soviets as part of the big push. If there are Soviets that are not part of the big push, you won't know about them. But the Soviets who are part of the big push is the town of Turek, which is one more town north of you. Beyond that, but which means that you're probably relatively confident that there are Soviets there, maybe.
I'm relatively sure that Tvek is also under Soviet control as well.
That's what you do with that information and what that hints about what bridges might and might not be under Soviet control. I leave that up to you. But yeah.
If we go around Tuvok, Turek, go more closer to Etio. We go past
Etio. Oh, do you mean Koto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if
head up that way.
See if that bridge is occupied by the Russians. All we know is that they might end up having this bridge.
Seems like a sensible thing. You got to get there, but that seems sensible.
Wanna go and see that far north?
That is currently. Oh, hang on. It's about 60 kilometers away.
And just a reminder, we are out of food and water.
Yeah, you've probably got some food from your other bits of hoarding, but
Yeah.
water is a more immediate problem.
Oh, sorry, I'm personally out of food and water.
You would have at least 2 more rations of food.
Water
we
is
didn't-
still a problem.
Yeah, the water will be still the problem. We do have a river right next to us. Hey, Silverslow, do you
We are
want to
not
test the
drinking out of
river?
that river.
There's a very high likelihood that there might be bloody radiation there.
Exactly.
Okay.
No.
Did we see any farms while we're crossing the...
Let me do
Train.
something here. Yes, you did. Tiny little farms.
Did any of them have a well?
You didn't enter the farms. You kind of like just drove past them. But you can go back and check.
Can we do... hey, Emil. Can you go back to check if any of them have well?
Sure, of course.
All right.
That can be a water supply for us.
It could be. Emil, make a survival roll for me, please. Unmodified.
Really? Wait. Hold on. No, I'm not hungry for food. Well,
You are going through the farms. You find one very small little farmstead. It was clearly once a cattle farm. It is abandoned. There is no cattle. Quite a few of the tools that would be used as part of cattle farming and dairy farming are gone. You're searching through the homestead section and the garden of the homestead looking for a well. You don't find one. You don't give up yet, though, and you move on to a second little farm that looks as though it was more for arable crops. This is quite a distance away. You're getting really tired. This place is also abandoned. Looking through the building, like everything useful is gone. But there is a well in the garden of the second farm.
alright.
As long as people can get their water containers there, it is enough to fill any container that you can bring to it.
How long is the truck?
How long?
Yeah.
It's going to take you a shift to do it. That's a quarter of the
Okay.
day.
And the farm is abandoned.
Yes, it is.
We're sure of this.
You have gone inside and checked it out.
And there was nobody there.
Nobody there.
Not even a little guy.
Nobody there.
Okay. Well, I don't kill anybody, but I do come back and I let everybody know I found a well, as you suggested, in this farm over here, and I point on the map.
Let's go and get some water. And
Okay.
Salvaslaw will be doing try and get the vehicle out. I'll fill his canteen up as well.
Of course.
Excuse me, what?
Uh,
Sorry.
They're leaving you with the truck and are asking you to keep trying to get the truck out of the mud.
Alright.
Do you
We're
need
gonna
anyone
fill
else
up
to
your
help you?
water. We're filling up your water.
Nothing is
All
said.
right. So, as like the rest of the party, you go off with your various containers of water to go and fill up at the well, and it's a long walk. This is going to take you a few hours. However, after you're well out of sight, after about an hour, Draco, give me a recon roll, please. Soboslav.
It looks like a tech roll was there.
Yeah, for trying to
I
get the
rolled
truck
it.
out, that was right. But can I get a recon roll from Soboslav?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Probably.
After about an hour, you are working away at the truck, and you become aware of a sense of movement coming over the hill. You look at it, and you squint for a moment as you're aware of just some shapes until you become aware of a Soviet foot patrol heading in your direction. This patrol consists of, you can't quite tell how many people, but 4 or more.
I'm going to immediately try and take cover or maybe hide in some place that won't signify that there was somebody there.
Okay, you do that. You can give me just another flat recon roll to sort of see how well you do that. Okay. You like dash off to the side a little bit and hide amongst some bushes, something along those lines. And you watch as this foot patrol keeps moving. And after a while, it stops, turns, and there's lots of pointing, not at you, but in your general direction. They're sort of fiddling. You can't hear a conversation, but you get the feeling there is one. And then the entire foot patrol turns and comes down towards you more directly. As they get nearby, you can tell they're not walking at you. They're walking to the much, much easier to spot truck.
Definitely gonna have to keep in cover because I'm not sure what would happen. I don't think it'd be smart to actually start opening fire, and not to mention, I'm the only one here.
You lie there. You keep very, very quiet with that recon. I'm just going to do some sound. Okay. You lie there. You stay very, very quiet. Very, very still. The Soviet troops all start heading up towards the truck. One or two of them hang back a little bit as though they're, they're covering it as though they're expecting people to be in the truck. One or two of them hang back. You now can tell that there are 6 of them. 2 of them start going around the truck very carefully. Another 2 of them go past the truck and take up defensive positions until eventually the 2 people who are kind of going around the truck dramatically rip open one door and point a gun in, whilst another one rips up the back tarpaulin and points a gun in. There's nobody there. They don't fire or anything along those lines. They start then calling out and yelling towards one another in Russian. You start hearing the sounds of laughter a little bit, not hugely, just little bits of chuckles. One of them jumps into the back of the tarpaulin truck, and he comes out with some of your supplies and tosses them to one of his friends. And one of them is looking at some of the planks of wood around the truck that you used to try and get it out unsuccessfully, and kind of kicks it. And then says something else to some of his colleagues. And they start suddenly moving around a little bit more quickly, jumping into the back of the truck, grabbing whatever it is they like the look of, and then jumping out the back. One of them opens the hood of the truck. Do anything when one of them opens the hood of the truck, or do you just continue to lie there?
Those assholes.
I have a feeling they're gonna do something to the engine. Oh boy. How far is the rest of the party?
Over an hour away by foot.
Fuck. Do I have any options that isn't being suicidal?
I mean, you're free to think of them, but I can't.
I'm thinking of it, but as I said, I'm just kind of repeatedly distracted, so I can't really think of anything. That's the problem. I need help. Damn.
Because it's probably too many to, like you said already, you probably aren't wanting to try and start a firefight.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
That's
start.
bad as
I'm not trying to start a firefight, but I'm just gonna keep a good look at what the fuck is going to happen to the engine.
I mean,
Okay.
because I know our vehicle's not going. We're not really going to be able to move it until the ground has dried up. So it might be that we already were going to have to abandon it if needed, but depending on what they do, either it can be repaired or it's not repairable.
Well, as you keep an eye on what it is they're doing, the one who's fiddling with the engine, you see him remove a couple of cables. I don't know enough about engines to know exactly what it is, but these are effectively the vital electronic components to start it. He's buggered the starter motor. He pockets them, and then with his friends who have taken like things out of the back of the truck, and fortunately for you, you're carrying most of your stuff. They then leave rapidly.
That's right.
Yep.
I left my T3 hunting rifle in there.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a nice hunting rifle. They have taken that.
Is.
They'll have seen a nice gun and taken it.
Fuck. I
Yep.
have the bullet on me. The last bullet is with me, but my
And you will
that
use it on them when
stings.
you get it back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
They leave.
I have to keep waiting until the coast is clear, cause well, I guess I can do something, even with the fact they took out the idols.
You know exactly what components you would need to get to repair it. And also, you think you could, if you got a suitable amount of electronic scrap, namely 1 unit of electronic scrap, which is something that you can scavenge for in like urban environments, you could improvise a repair. You're just going to need something.
I'll do that.
No, make a note to do that when you get into an urban environment. But, and we will now start drawing the session towards a close.
Yeah, because I
yeah,
gotta go, because my mom just came back. I need to help her.
Of course.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry for the constant interruptions.
No.
So,
You
we will start drawing the
guys-
session. See ya.
Sorry.
Yeah,
We will draw
GG.
the session to a close with this scene, which is the rest of the party coming back to the truck, because that's where you got to find them, with water, but quickly learning of the events that have just transpired.
Yep.
Email. For the first time, I think, actually looks upset. Not angry, like blah, 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 like sad. Genuinely just sad. Because they took his gun.
There it is. The mission of revenge shall commence.
Oh, they don't know who they took a gun off, but yeah, if they end up dead, I'm not gonna say who did it.